So we are on. Hang on. Good evening, people. I'm going to try a few various voices tonight to see which one is more palatable to the wider audience, because I have been hearing some criticisms from our newfound heroes of the flat earth, our dastardly duo, Itchy Bum Syndrome and Paperclip Boy. You know, people should not listen to this platform because I am so difficult to understand that it would be so difficult to reach the wider audience. Therefore, we need new knights in shining armour, Itchy Bum Syndrome and Paperclip Boy, to come along and take us to the next level. Now, I am seeing others who are getting involved in the activism. I seen one chappie earlier today who listed some people in the description, and Itchy Bum Syndrome was one of them. The comment was, I would like to thank Itchy Bum Syndrome for furthering the grassroots activism. Yes, yes, Itchy Bum Syndrome and Paperclip Boy are leading the way forward. We all better pull up our socks and start speaking fucking properly. I'll do my best to make my voice more palatable for a wider audience. Now, I'm going to try the James Bond. See if the James Bond is any more palatable for the wider audience. How am I doing? Do the American audience understand me now? Yes. Yes? Good, good, good. Can you just bear with me a little second until I sort some of my housekeeping out? Thank you very much. I'll be with you in just a shit. Okay. I do apologize, people. I am now, I may have a hybrid voice here tonight of posh upper class English and James Bond, you know. I shall try not to leave you confused, but I am going to try hard to adhere to the criticisms of the dastardly duo, Itchy Bum Syndrome and Paperclip Boy. I wouldn't want to, you know, represent the truth with, you know, my scummy voice and my working class scummy background. You know, I mean, that's just not on. We need arty-farty type of chappies to come along, sweep us all off our feet and take us forward. It's not, you know, that they are worried that, you know, the message that is pushed here is highly dangerous to any further manipulation. No, 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 no. It's just that my voice is not palatable for a wider audience. And you should stop listening to me, okay? Purely because, you know, my slang accent, you know, it's nothing to do with the fact that I push continually for full exploration and that we should not accept any more cartoons or illogical nonsense from manipulative narcissistic derps. No, 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 no. It's just my voice. Marshall, you have been sent the link, sir. I hope you accept and kindly join me, you know. But remember, Marshall, you too, we are trying to reach a wider audience, and I would appreciate you speaking with a stiff upper lip. Thank you very much. There shall be very limited effing and blinding from now on. Okay? No swearing. I shall do my darndest not to fuck. Okay? I really don't know when to let this character drop. I'm getting a bit carried away with myself. I'm just referring to my notes. I shall be right with you. I'll be there in a jiff. While I'm at it, if you would like to join us for some discussions tonight, you can send an email to nocurve@gmx.com, or you can call us on a number which I think Marshall shall share in a wee minute when he arrives. You're here, Marshall.
Yeah, I'm here, mate.
Testing, testing. 1, 1, 2. You there, sir?
Am I there, mate?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Jolly good, sir.
Nice
Then we
one.
should continue.
Nice one. Can you please share the telephone number with the lovely audience? Thank you, fans. Thank you, guys. Please send me all of your art so that I may put it in a catalogue and display it and take credit for it as if I am some sort of controlling, party in this. I shall maybe make some funds from your lovely art. But art is the way forward. Speaking politely and posh, and art is the new way forward. Seriously, I just don't know when to let this character drop. It's becoming highly addictive. Are you enjoying? Can I get some feedback? Do you all understand me perfectly well? Yes, I'm going to take it that I'm being well understood here. Marshall, how are you? Are you struggling to understand what I am saying?
It's a bit too much of a refined accent for me, my man.
Oh,
I was not that well educated, you see.
Well, I'm trying to reach a wider audience, and I know we have been friends, but you just have to fucking put up with it, Marshall. Clean your fucking ears out, sir. I'm speaking very clear. There'll be no teetering and laughing either. No sniggering off camera. None of that shit. I think that's enough enough. Can I kick the arse right out it? So, Marshall, could you share that phone number, please?
Yeah, I've dropped them in a couple of times, mate.
Could you read it out so that anybody listening who's not paying attention to the chat?
It's 0739 36 54 544.
So, seriously, people, you can say whatever you like about me, but when I see these things, this is not about jealousy or ego. I do not care what anybody, if anybody's listening here or not. I'm going to push the same messages I always have. But when I see things like people accrediting the grassroots activism to people who have just appeared in the scene and gave us absolutely fucking nothing, there should be alarm bells ringing, right? So I can put forth a couple of things that may be happening as a threat to, whatever is going down, because let's be honest, as I have said from the beginning, for me, this is about releasing this information. This is about possibly taking it to another false paradigm, which is what I have stated from the beginning. Now, if that was your plan, somebody like myself and people who push this very same message would be a threat to any coming manipulation or lie. Okay, so when activism and certain people and certain messages are getting popular, what you have to do is infiltrate and lead the opposition. Okay, So if you don't get that by now and you are not aware of what is going on, then I suggest that you take time away from the internet and have a fucking serious think to yourself. Okay? So for anybody new who is tuning in here, you may not understand what has just went on in the last 5 minutes. I may look like an absolute lunatic to you, but you know, as time goes on, you will understand what that was about. This platform here focuses purely on natural science, the separation of the sciences and bringing people to the understanding of what they are, that being natural, formal and social science and how they are identified and separated. We focus here on claims that are made about reality, and those claims must come into the realms of natural science, that being observable, measurable, testable and repeatable. We focus on natural physics, things like water, liquid and its behaviour upon Earth. This abundant element, if you like, is a great measuring tool of telling us the possibilities of where we live. Now that one point alone rules out the possibility of you living on the exterior of any shape. So people like myself who believed, much like many of you, that we lived on a globe, took it for granted through childhood and most of our adult life. We then decided to have a look at it to see if it, you know, was really true. And many people like myself found that it was not true. Okay, and these institutions like NASA and any of the other ones who produce images of the Earth being a round blue testicle are liars. The reason we know they are liars is because the images do not match observable reality. Now I know that is hard for people to get because they somehow think that images have a huge sway when really they don't. You know, that is all that exists in the way of proof for us living on a nature-defying blue testicle, flying through the infinite vacuum of space. That is childish cartoon nonsense. People like myself who have broken free from that cult belief are now in a position of not knowing the full dimensions of where we are or who we are or why we are here. It is an ongoing investigation and we invite and encourage any mature or adult, whoever you are, who is intellectually honest and can add something to the discussion to join us in the pursuit of bringing to the world the idea of full exploration. Now, that is a threat to certain people, as I say, people who want to keep us in servitude, ignorance. They do not want us having attitudes of, fuck you, we want full exploration. So they seem to be releasing this fact that they have lied about the globe. But again, me being very sceptical and wary of what is going on, I think they are trying to push a new paradigm, and I think that's where they're going to try and take it. So here, there is no claim to know what the full dimensions of the Earth actually is. We can claim here that it is not the exterior of a sphere, and we can provide actual measurable proof for that. You know, the fact that there is zero measurable curvature, along with many other proofs. But for me, the most solid, the best measuring tool we have known to man is water. Okay, so that's about it. If you missed what the Posh Voice was about, as I said, we have new-found overnight sensation heroes, the Gruesome Twosome, the Dastardly Duo, Itchy Bum Syndrome, and Paperclip Boy, who have decided to jump on the trending flat Earth, if you like, and try to hijack it. I had a wee look at the Paperclip Boy, who has also appeared from nowhere. And kudos to anybody who goes out and does activism. I am by no means any authority, and people would like to claim that I think I'm an authority on this whole matter. I am simply me. I always have been. This is the platform I created and I speak my mind here. If you want to listen, you listen. If you don't, you go somewhere else. It's as simple as that. So do not listen to these absolute fucking morons. I can't remember where Paperclip Boy came from. Paperclip Boy traded a paperclip, apparently. It sounds like a great marketing scam to me to advertise some selling platform, if you like. But this Paperclip Boy has arrived in the scene after being on TED Talks and the likes, and now only has a subscription of 300 and something, and is now, as I say, part of a duo in Itchy Bum Syndrome and Paperclip Boy. So I see what is going on. It's up to you people to see what's going on. Right? If you want to keep giving these people attention, that's up to you. Okay? But don't come crying when it comes round and bites you in the bum. The grassroots came from here. This is where the grassroots activism comes from. This is where the real message is. No claim to any model, full exploration. These fuckers know that. If you would like to join in some conversation tonight, send a message to nocurve@gmx.com, or you can telephone or message on Marshall. Sorry.
We're on 0739 36 54 544.
Now, again, I listen to these people trying to discourage people from listening here or coming to this platform, saying that, you know, because of the way I speak, I would not be able to reach a wider audience. Therefore, you need well-spoken Americans, because Americans are very easy to understand, you know? Yes, infinite plane is as bad as the globe. You can't prove it exactly. So when we know that, and we know the reality of the situation, which is real people who have been born into captivity, if you like, the only logical place that you should reach, the reality of the situation that you should reach if you really are doing the work and coming to any realization, is you do not know where you are and nobody around you does. So anybody who claims to represent a certain movement or society of map and model, you should be very wary of them. Okay, that is divisive. It's very simple. So, there's a couple of other things. Let me see here. So, a couple of scenarios we could look at here. If they are bringing these failed actory type comedians, failed comedians or failed artists on board, we have a couple of options. It's because somebody is feeding them and they know that this is going to get popular. Therefore, they would like to be part of it and be personalities amongst it and make some money out of it. Or they are going to turn around and say it was a huge joke and at the same time try and make some money from it. Now, either way, I would be very wary of what is going on. Right? That is probably the two choices that I could see happening here. Or I could be wrong, and they are just genuine people in search of truth. It could be that. It could be. But after all this time, as I say, for anybody to be claiming a prominent position and trying to claim some sort of leadership, the message they should be saying is no infinite plane, dome, fucking whatever. The message should be, we do not know. Natural science, real science, must have the ability and has the ability to stand and say, we do not know. Because then that is the honest stance and that is where you make progress. And you make quicker progress when you get to, we do not know. Okay? Rather than thinking you know and wasting everybody's time. So if they're claiming some sort of leadership or any role like that and they do not push that message, I would be extremely concerned about who they are and what their agenda actually is. Okay. Who's this IPS? I don't know who IPS is. I'm talking about itchy bum syndrome and paperclip boy. Oh, hang on, I'm getting some messages. I will come to the chat and say hello in my best voice. I'm not sure which one you shall get. There are many characters in my head. I do not know which one shall speak. Hello to people in the chat and people who are watching. I shall be with you in 2 seconds. So we have 19 missed calls and 6 messages. Nice one, Del. I love the no mess nature of your position. It's just so simple, but still people seem to struggle to grasp this reality, even though they witness it on a daily basis. Been following you for some time now and would love to come on one night. I try to speak about this as much as possible, and most people take it well, and I can only hope they have a look. Thanks for doing what you're doing, and all the best. Luke. Well, thank you very much, Luke. There are a couple of issues with your very kind comment, and I really appreciate you taking the time to message me, and I am not being condescending. I am trying hard to be polite and palatable in order to reach a wider audience. So please do not misunderstand. I am not belittling or being condescending in any way. It is purely an effort to clear up my communication skills. You say you have been following. Now, I really appreciate that, you support the message. And you maybe don't mean following me as a man. If you are here to represent and support the message, then my good man, I appreciate you so much. Yes, but following me and waiting for me to take it somewhere is a little bit foolish. And that goes for anyone who is waiting for me or anyone else to take the bull by the horns and tear down the wall. You have to stand on your own 2 feet. We need numbers so that we can all tear the wall down together. Okay? If you leave it up to me or some other individual, you run the risk of corruption and them selling out. Okay? So it's best to equip yourself with the tools you require in order to be a critical thinking individual and to stand on your own 2 feet. And then we have no need for hierarchical leadership structure, So thank you, Luke. All right, Del, was wondering about your take on how Joe Rogan is constantly talking about flat earth and making out it is the most ridiculous thing in the world. For me, it's giving the subject all the more credibility, knowing the numbers his show gets is more than the mainstream news. I listened from the start of his podcast and his attitude has done a complete 180. Respect, Del Duncan. Well, idiotic clowns like Mr. Rogan probably are not aware that they are being used as a fake resistance and will probably end up in the firing line. And as you say, good sir, the more these people talk about it, the more publicity it gets. Now, that should be telling you everything you need to know. As I have stated from the beginning, no mistakes from NASA or any of the space agencies would be allowed. People would not be freely talking about this, publishing books and going about, spreading this knowledge if they did not want it to be so. But for me, they do want it out and they had a plan in place to have very popular people and to have people in the very same mindset that they had them in previously. And that is to be a sheeple and follow the leader. Okay? They never foreseen people like myself becoming established and pushing from, the trenches to this point and garnering some attention and pushing another message. It has become a little bit of a pain in the arse for them, as we are now seeing with the desperate increase of new characters and them trying to hijack and jump on the grassroots activism. Okay, I am no authority in it. I simply set about to show people and to take it to the streets. And other people have bravely joined in, some real common brave people. They have witnessed how popular this has become and how powerful it can be, and they are now concerned about it and trying desperately, very transparently. I am cringing. I have teeth marks on my knuckles. It is so cringeworthy to, impersonate it and hijack it. That is not going to happen. People like me will not fucking allow it. So I don't know if that answered your question, Duncan, but Joe Rogan is a few cans short of the six-pack. I would not be concerned with Joe Rogan's influence over people. Joe Rogan is simply a Muppet puppet. Okay, next message. Dell, what are your thoughts on Matt Powerland? He's been wanting exploration for a long time. Just curious on your take of him, and I know you want the same thing to explore, JD. Thank you, JD. Well, Mr. Powerland, has his own platform. Mr. Powerland has put out some very, very good work, I must add. I really enjoyed Mr. Powerland's what was it called now? You will have to forgive me until I remember what it's called. Just bear with me. The video I am referring to is called This Crazy Notion. Now, I have, recommended This Crazy Notion to many people, as I felt that Matthew articulates himself well in that video and makes some very good points with visuals. I understand that Matthew pushes for exploration. It's not full exploration. I have heard Matthew pushing for an exploration to the Antarctic to do, a crossing of Antarctica, and he wants to have it televised and people place bets on it. However, I have continually raised the concerns that what if Antarctica is not this ring around the outside of us? And they let somebody like Matthew go on an expedition only to pop out the other side for them then to say, see, it's a fucking globe, or whatever. Now, I can understand, him saying such things, but for me, it has to be full exploration or fucking nothing at all. Also, like many people, we have the ego problems and this, I am the leader and I am the first and blah, 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 blah. For me, I think it's very important for credit to be given where credit is due. That is what encourages the human being on. As children, we loved and thrived on appreciation and encouragement for our endeavours. And it is a very bitter and hard pill to swallow when people steal the credit for your endeavours. So by all means, Matthew, the same as many other people who are involved in this, who have put out great work, deserve credit for that great work. None of us are perfect. I only wish there was less of the divisive behaviour between people, and if these characters such as Matthew are real and as they claim to be, I would hope that they would come and join us in the real grassroots activism. If they would like to share some t-shirts and get involved with some of the activism, that would be wonderful. But I feel and I worry maybe that this crew, if we would like to call it, of Itchy Bum Syndrome and Paperclip Boy and some of the others who I won't mention right now, are crediting each other and seem to be building a team and trying to claim that they are the grassroots activists. I have a real issue there, but we shall see how things unfold. But as I say, some of the work, and as I say, I have encouraged people to watch this Crazy Notion, which I think was a very excellent piece of work, and I still highly recommend. And remember, it is about the information. It's not about the man who is offering you the information, okay? The people who encourage you to focus on the man, or if the man who is giving you the information keeps trying to get you to focus on him and garner some sort of egotistical attention, you should be very skeptical of that and be pointing it out as not acceptable. Was a baller for 42 years. The thing that makes me sure it's a fixed plane is the water being level. That's all I needed, but I've been watching your platform for over a month now. You conduct yourself well, and you are a gentleman. Thank you for doing what you do, Eddie from Kirkintilloch. Eddie, I thank you very much, my good man. That comment is very much appreciated. It's nice to know that you are logical and critical in your thoughts, and you understand that the water tells us everything about the possibilities of the dimensions of the earth we find ourselves on, in, within, upon, whatever you like. Much appreciated, Eddie. Love the show, Dale. Brian Cox will be at West Lothian College next week. Oh, really? You should make the trip to ask him a few questions, Raz. Well, thank you very much, Raz, good sir. I shall be pursuing that avenue, definitely. I think maybe if we know like people like Sir Brian Cox are showing up at places, maybe we should have a little get-together. Now, this get-together should be for intelligent, calm, rational people. No louts. We do not want heckling and abusiveness. Let's show up and put some questions to Mr. Cox, and let's see what reaction we get. Now, I will be also encouraging more get-togethers and activism in groups. Rob McKenzie, another lovely chap here in Scotland, has organised a couple of Scottish meetings. He has asked me kindly to shout this out, that we are looking to have another meeting, and that maybe we could arrange, you know, a destination. Now, Rob, I think we will leave that to see how people respond and where the suggestions come from, and we may have a decision later on tonight as to where we could have a meeting and maybe some activism in numbers. But as I say, I will not be participating in, you know, brutish behaviour, no vulgar behaviour, no violent behaviour. This is about science and for, you know, people who want to discuss it and to bring the discussion into the wider arena. Numpties, idiots, need not apply. You can stay at home. Hi Dale, if you could tell everyone Matt Powell another gatekeeper to lead you down the wrong path, Dave from London. Well Dave, as I said, you know, this all comes down to information. The most important thing for me is how people are thinking. People really have to understand rhetoric, grammar, logic, reasoning, natural science. These are the tools to equip yourself with so that you may then discern information. You will be able to highlight and identify fallacies and establish what information is factual and what is not. So for me to sit here and say, blatantly that people are shells and they have an agenda to blah, 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 would be, not right on my part. I can, however, raise concerns about certain types of activity and things that are being said, and where that might lead, without actually saying they are shells, they are agents who are here playing a game. We have to be a wee bit more tactile than that, a bit more subtle. The game is very subtle. If you do not understand that, I have been involved in this tactical game for a long time, then I suggest that you go and have a wee look at the backlog. There is no need to point the finger and call them shells. Everyone is entitled to set out their own platform, their own stall, and it is up to the people who they buy from. Now, for me, as I say, I encourage people to be critical in where they buy the product from. And if, you are claiming these people as some sort of leader or representative, they should be scrutinised severely. No egotistical nonsense. I am the leader, I am the first. If you have been here for a long time, then fair enough. You have been involved for a long time. This doesn't give you then priority over everyone else. You're not on any pedestal. You need to humble yourself and come down to this level where it is equality. Okay? So, I am now finished with the messages I have received on the mobile phone. I shall go to chat and say hello to the very good people in chat and hello to the very good people who are viewing this. If you are an American, I hope this new articulation is good for you and you can understand me clear. Hello in chat. I shall just start randomly from any given place. Uppercut, Men in Black are in the shed with Dell. He's disguised, he is in the corner. He only speaks when nobody is around. But, you should believe me. Because look, just look. There he's there. He's real. Now I can show you. You should accept that when the camera is off, he comes to life and he speaks to me. And he gives me information about the fifth dimension. And, takes me to the fifth dimension and shows me pink unicorns. He shows me in the fifth dimension that globe Earths are possible by way of magical forces, and that in the fifth dimension, water does display convexity and bend around objects. The fifth dimension is full of magical properties. You can just think it, imagine it, and it becomes reality. Now, the fact that I have shown you the alien, and the fact that I can get 500 people to come to the shed and testify to the alien being real, should be enough for you to take the information that I am now sharing with you about the fifth dimension as actual fact. If you do not believe me, then you're a moron. You are retarded. I have shown you the fucking alien. Okay? Night Angel, boo, boring. Okay, sorry. I cannot please everyone. I am trying my damnedest. If you would like to put in a recommendation, I shall try to meet your needs, as I am so desperate for approval from every single person that I will bend over backwards to be accepted by you all. So, anything you wish from me, I shall try my best to give thee. Mark Fawcett, really enjoyed Use 3. Use are female sheep, by the way, I think. U3, I take it Mark is another Scottish fellow, so I shall translate some Scottish slang through the evening so that the American and the English and other speaking languages understand what the fuck we are talking about when we speak in our native tongue. So Mark Fawcett, really enjoyed you three at the uni the other day. Looks great, and you get on so well with people. Love the work, lads. Respect. Yes, it was a great afternoon. The university was beautiful in the basking sunshine. It was a great atmosphere, and we met some really delightful, lovely people who I appreciate and thank yet again. And also to Gav and John for, you know, their company through the day. It was a real pleasure. Rick G, when you play King of the Hill, all the bullies get together and tag team. So you get to the middle and use armies to ensure you hold the hill. Yes, Rick G, I think you are on the ball. Excuse the pun. Anders Ace, Amp, Levi Foster, that's me out then. I have no idea what you chaps are talking about. I am reading random comments. I will just give your name a shout out in appreciation that you are there, and I shall, you know, cease from reading random comments. Levi Foster, Chris Hayes, Killuminati, Vids, YouTube, Infinite Amp, MRT Redux, Joan of Worms, good evening. Good evening, John. Good evening, Magumba, if you are there. Grizz Frank, how you doing, man? Chris Hayes, Lazy Boy Researcher, 250 BM, Tommy Lee, Delta F-Man, San Ingen, Rick G, Road FFM, Adam Eves, Joseph Zio, blah, 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 blah. So I'm not going to read everybody. I apologise. My eyes are going together already. So if you have something to say at the bottom of the chat, say so. If you would like to join me in discussion, you know, the Saturday night, my platform is for me to express myself and to document my journey. I open the platform on a Saturday to let anybody new who doesn't have, you know, a voice, to let us know you're there. If you wish to come and promote yourself, come. You know, you can share your email, your phone number, you can, you know, build circles with whoever you like. You know, that's what the platform is here for. It's for you to discuss any topic you like. The only criteria I have here is that if you make any claims to being factual, you know, I'm going to ask you for proof of that. But you're welcome to discuss any topic. And if it is just you hypothesising and philosophising, then you can say so. And it's fine, we can have those discussions. So I'm now open to anybody who wishes to come in. Marshall, do we have any requests?
Yeah, Lazy Boy Research is on his way in. I'm just putting the link out now. And Merle's got some good news he wants to hand off. So I expect he'll be in a little bit later on.
Nice. Okay,
Lazy Boy, your link's out, mate.
And I really want to encourage new faces. It's important. It's important for people's morale, not for me personally, but for people to see and be encouraged by new faces, new accounts coming on board, which I see and witness every single day. You know, it's encouragement for people. Kazimierz Bonkowski, I would like to thank you, and I think it's your good woman, for the translations. I really appreciate it. If you are anyone who is doing activism, then I will give you a shout out. We created the activism channel, a separate channel, to help people out and put it on there. There are so many people now who are, you know, getting active. It would be impossible for me to upload everything to this channel. And again, I see some people who are encouraged by viewing numbers, which is a bit sad to see. Viewing numbers were never my incentive. My incentive was purely to keep pushing the truth. That is what's important to me. It is a wee bit cringy when I see people concerned by how many views they're getting and getting a buzz off of a few thousand views. This is not about my or your personal ego scratching or personal endeavours. If that is your journey, fair enough, but it is not my journey. It is not what fuels me. My incentives are for truth. I do not care if 5 people are here or 105 people or 305. It matters not. It's not about me. It's not about you or any other personality. This is about the objective truth. Okay? It does not require a personality to represent it. And sure, I have heard these people talking like that, and I was, here telling people we have to employ the same tactics. They manipulated people. They used manipulative methods to put people in ignorance. So we should employ the same in order to empower people. So we need that. We need comedians. We need every walk of life, every possible personality, because all these things appeal to many different kinds. Right? The important thing for me, right, is if they represent the truth. And I will always call it when I feel that people are not representing the truth. Not because I think I'm an authority, just because that's the way I am, and that is why what I have always done and will always do. Nothing has changed, nothing is any different from what I have said at the very beginning. If you doubt it, go and have a look. So. I am awaiting a guest. I shall ramble on some more until the guest arrives.
We've got no confirmation of receipt, though, and there are other people who are interested. So perhaps we ought to sort of rely on somebody else's courtesy here and throw another link out. Yeah.
Okay. If we send out, a couple of links and we do not get a show, and then we have someone else who comes in, and then you decide to activate the link or the link works, I would ask you kindly to just eject yourself rather than being ejected, and wait until that person has had their say. I would like to give opportunity to each individual to have a clear platform in order for them to get the point across. When we have many characters in the platform at one time, it becomes a bit wishy-washy. Okay? And I get irritated and bored of people talking over the top of each other and taking conversations down many different avenues.
Okay, Merle, your link's sent, dude. I'll just take a minute to address a couple of comments that are coming in on the mail. Yeah. Matt C, dude, you can come on just audio only. You just follow the link to the Hangout, and you just be there without the camera. That's all.
Validation boy, you can come on and have your say as well. The platform is open to all. Okay. Another point I'm going to bring up. Sorry, Master, did I cut you there? Were you still going to speak?
I was, dude. VP, you need to mail me, dude, if you want the link. I've lost my train now, dude. Carry on.
I sincerely apologise, Marshall, for my rudeness. I deserve a slap in the back of the neck for that, my good man. I hope you accept my deepest apologies.
I certainly do, because I didn't fancy getting the fish ready.
So, my other point is that I have had commentary about anti-Semitism in the comments. There is no such thing gets spoke of on this platform. I have stated many times, for me, if you would like to focus on an enemy, if I was to identify an enemy, it would be a certain mind type, if you like. And there's a certain process for identifying that type of mind. That type of mind that I am referring to will hide behind any costume, any group, any organization. Okay, there are many innocent people involved in many aspects of life, be it being a Jew, a Muslim, a Catholic, a Protestant, or whatever you like. Okay, now amongst these people who are pretty much innocent, decent people, there are certain mindsets who are hell-bent on, you know, causing trouble and problems for people in, you know, any aspect of their life. Okay, manipulative, controlling people. So, just to put that to rest, here, this is not about hanging people in the street. I have stated over and over again, because I've seen it, that it could become an issue if we start trying to hang people in the street and getting justice. Then we may have a bigger fight on our hands. It is better just to let go and to accept that we were duped and that we are now taking control back, and we no longer accept it. Now they can relinquish the control and go away with their tail between their legs, you know, or we can do the other avenue, which is, you know, what they do not want. So I always encourage the activism and the pushing for this to be non-violent, non-aggressive. Okay? This is about science. This is about exploration and discovery. Mero, how are you?
Good, my man. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well, sir.
Fantastic, sir. I like it. Suit and tie.
Yes, yes. Made the effort. Made the effort.
I'll do my hair.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to be, as I say, I'm trying to be more palatable to the wider audience, you know.
Who for itchy bum syndrome?
Oh, Itchy Bum Syndrome and Paperclip Boy are the new gruesome twosome. They are the new saviours here to take us forward. They are the grassroots activists who started the whole grassroots activism, apparently. So
I think they're going to have the first flat Earth wedding. The first selfie there.
no, Meryl.
Wow.
How are you, man? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. The other night I spoke to Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole on Skype.
Yeah.
Main reason I reached out to him is because some of his material was some of the first I came across. And I just wanted to say, you know, I just wanted to meet kind of connect with the real man.
Yeah.
And he was talking about you. And, sorry, he was saying, like, if everybody gave you $1, right? Say if everyone who subscribes to Beyond the Imaginary Curve gave you $1,
Yep.
then you'd have however much that would, you know, add up to.
I'd have a new motorbike. That's what I would have.
Yeah. And he was sort of going down that line of, you know, like, what's the big deal about people making money and da 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 da. And I was saying, no problem. It's just the way you go about it, I guess. If it's honest, what's the catch? Are you selling anything? Blah, blah, blah. And I said, it seems American people more ready to make money out of anything. And I wasn't trying to offend him. I was just trying to, like, you know how I'm Australian, you're, as far as I know, Scottish. I'm not trying to put words, you know what I mean? We're just, there are differences.
Yeah.
We're all human, but that cultural thing.
Yeah.
And I guess all I was trying to get to with him is, I thought, well, I said to him, you're in America, you know, NASA and all the trouble is coming really out of your country. You know, when are you guys gonna like go march outside NASA or something? Like, get as many.
I hear what you're saying, yeah, and that's true, mate. I would just like to say though, I mean, I take it, you know, I forget the guy's name now, I apologise. Deep inside the rabbit hole, is it David?
Dave Weiss.
Is David aware that you're talking about a private conversation? Was it agreed that it would be a private conversation, or?
What I'm discussing with you wasn't here or there.
Right.
And I'm not revealing any top secret classified. That's why I'm talking about it. He did mention some things to me that were private, but that's not why I brought it up, and I'm not trying to drop a name.
No.
I thought it was interesting that it just became apparent that money was being spoken about, and what happened with IPS. It just seems like there are people out there trying to make money out of this for whatever reason.
Well, as I say, man, you know, for me, the concern there is that, you know, a couple of options. They're either going to turn around and say, look, it's all ex-actors and failed comedians and blah, 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 and it was a huge, big joke, and they're trying to make as much money as they can before that happens, or they know that it is becoming more widespread and that it is going to become hugely popular, and there is an opportunity there for them to make money. So either way, you know, it's an issue for me. I'm not here to make money. As I say, my life beforehand, it's not changed. You know, I still am in the same position that I was in before I started. I still live by the very same means. What's important to me is the truth, you know, and each to their own. If people are in a situation where they must have the money, and I totally understand that because that's the system that we are currently in, then I would never take that away from anybody or say they shouldn't. You know, that's never what I have said. You know, I just say here that it's not going to happen here. That's important to me here at this platform. But, you know, each to their own. If somebody has to make money, then fine. And if somebody is making money by representing and telling the actual truth, then I really don't have an issue with that, because unfortunately we still live within that system, you know. So
yeah.
And as I say, you know, there's many people living many hardships, and I'm not going to get above my station. I don't live beyond my means. You know, I know what's important and I know what's not important, and that's what matters to me. You know, other people need things, they need stuff in their life. So when the incentive becomes about that, then it's an issue for me again as well, you know. If any funding was to go to anything, it should be going in order to progress and further this, to bring this on to the next level. You know, that's where people's funding should be going, if they have any funding.
I'm still pretty new to this, so and I'm realizing that, like, I even had a bit of a showdown with somebody. I wasn't expecting that, and they said to me I was going down a really dangerous path.
Okay. Well,
and yeah, and I noticed I got offended because in my life up until this point, I let a lot of people kind of talk over the top of me or bully me. You know, I'm not the biggest guy. I've been bullied. I've had a lot of that sort of stuff happen and enabled it, let it go, and turn the other cheek. But just this particular, for me personally, this whole realization, whether I know the full dimensions, and people are talking about the dome and different things, I haven't even got that far with my thinking. I'm still coming to terms with the fact that the earth is flat. Like, stop everything, you know? That's ground.
Yeah.
It is profound, and that's ground.
Yeah.
So from that, it is almost like rebuilding from the ground up.
Yeah.
So
that's it, mate, and we know nothing. Really.
Well, just to make my point though, it's given me a center now. Like I have strength now that I never had before, and I can't explain that. But this guy who tried it on with me, I felt I'm going to sit this guy on his ass. I'm going to. And then another part of me kicked in and just went, no, just use your intellect, use what you know, be strong, don't buy into anything, and just hold this. And I battled him with my intellect and my wit. And in the end, it broke down into he started insulting me. And it was really weird what took place, but I ended up telling him to go fuck himself, and yeah, I went there in the end, but I didn't care. He revealed so much about himself, and all I was saying was, you might want to check out this and take it seriously. And he took it into, I'm going down a dangerous path. What are you going to do about it anyway? Every deflection.
Yeah.
He was basically saying, don't just shut up, go along with it. And there's nothing you can do about it anyway.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And I've come across that a lot, Del. Like, a lot of people just don't want to know, almost like, what does it matter? Who cares? I've been really surprised by that. And I'm new to it, so it shocked me. That's taken me aback a bit.
Yeah. Well, you're going to meet them, man, you know. But as I say, these people really don't matter, man. And I'm sure that you're wise enough to realise that. You know, reality is what it is, regardless of what these people want to believe in or what delusion they are invested in. You know, so
it's true. I think it's just it's my naivety that I think sometimes more people are going to be on board with this rather than putting up resistance to it. And I know, like the interview you just did with Gav at the Edinburgh University, one girl, I think the French girl, said, I'm still going to go home and do my own research.
Yeah.
But you could see definitely you had her thinking.
Yeah.
Like both of them, especially her, you could see that, like, oh, her cogs were turning.
Yeah.
And that was great.
That's it. That's all we're asking for people, you know. If they look at it, and that day was a great day. There was many more like that. And as you're saying about that type of resistance, I take it this was an online discussion you had, or was it an in-person discussion?
With Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole was on Skype, and we were just talking. But
this other one you're speaking of?
In person. With a so-called friend of mine.
So is it somebody who you know? Is it somebody who's in your social circles? Yeah. Well, for me personally, when you're getting involved with circles like that, where people who have preconceived notions and ideas of who they think you are, in regards to a social circle and its dynamics and the hierarchy of it all, they all have a place for you in their mind, and it's hard for them to break through even that barrier, even entertain what you're actually saying. So for me, it proves when you go to people who don't have those preconceived notions, when you meet different people in the street, you don't get that same type of mentality coming. I've experienced it a couple of times, but the people were very well aware of the situation they were in, and they had to try hard to stop themselves from being that, express themselves in the way you've just said, by being, resistant and aggressive and you down, and but they know that you've got, and that's the point. If they know that you're intelligent enough and calm enough to hold yourself and just calmly point out logical fallacies in their behaviour and the things that they're saying, that winds them up even more, you know, and you will win the battle there. They will reveal, you know, their flaws very quickly if you can maintain that. And that's the beauty of meeting strange people, because they know you don't have a preconceived idea of who they are, and they are the same towards you. It's much easier to have dialogue and discussion with them, you know, without all that other complexity getting in the way of it. You know, it's just two strangers who are not thinking about who you are on a personal level. They're just listening to what information you're actually sharing with them, you know. So when I go and do that, and because of those types of situations, I very rarely, you know, hardly ever meet anything like you have just suggested. The majority of that comes for me from, you know, people in close proximity who think they know you, and they will display that behaviour, or from, you know, faceless potatoes online who hide behind accounts. You know, it's much easier for them just to go to a low level mindset, you know. So I wouldn't let any of that discourage you.
There's a great, it's not great, there's a movie called The Breakfast Club. It's an American film, but the wisest person in the film is the janitor.
Yeah.
And it's just really interesting, that character, because he is wise and he does know a lot, but he's sort of like the lowly janitor, the guy who, you know, mops the floors of the school. And from that character, I've learned a lot, like that you can get from a bum on the street or an old woman on the tram, wherever, you know, everybody has something to offer.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. Even a little kid, they could come out with something. So that's what I'm.
Yeah, when we're talking about truth and facts, it doesn't matter who's offering it, you know, but people are stuck in this mindset of only accepting it when it comes from a certain look or, you know, stature, you know, rather than just having the mindset of, well, what is the actual information, regardless of where it comes from, you know.
And that's what's funny about you doing the voice, because you might be really right there about IPS and a lot of the people tuning into that. Like, I went back and tuned into him once more just to see, out of interest, if there wasn't. I say it, just because you're talking doesn't mean you're saying anything.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to talk in a riddle there, but there is something powerful, again, profound, because there's a lot of people talking. But what if no one, you know, it's a big thing for me. Like, I'm just at a point, I'm at a point in my life where I've heard I've heard more bullshit in my life than I have truth.
Yeah.
And it's like the Giddy Limit. Do you know the Giddy Limit? You've heard that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, I don't mean to complain. I'm not down on anyone, but I just think as human beings in this situation, whoever's listening, like, let's just look at each other and assess this a little bit. Like, if we don't start talking to each other on the level, we're not going to move forward. I know what you want, and I'll do everything in my life I can to make that a reality where I can, whether it's got to happen grassroots, Scotland, Australia, America, and we all do it in our own way.
Yeah.
I would really like to see us come together on this one. And I'm not trying to get ahead of myself, but I have had experiences. People could look at me and go, oh, that guy's got funny hair, he's got a funny jumper on. But guys, you don't know anything about me and what kind of life I've had. And I'm 40 years old. I look young for my age. A bit good.
Said who? Who said that? Somebody's telling you lies, Meryl.
I'm not trying to compliment myself. I'm just saying, you know, I'm like, you know, boy man. I can't help it. I'm just what I am. But I know who I am. I know what I'm not, and I'm just being myself. So,
Good.
but I have had some kind of vision at a certain stage in my life that at a certain point in time, humanity comes together. And how and why that really comes to pass is none of my business. But I'm aware that it's important. And think of me what you will, but we're here, we're the ones who are here, and that's a message.
Yep.
Take it however you want to take it. But we are in this together. Itchy Bum Syndrome, Paperclip Boy, Neil deGrasse Tyson, fucking, you know, Matt Powell and Eric Jabay, what's that other guy's name? Joe Rogan. You know, we're all here on this plane together. People you hate and despise and disgust, and people you love and you'd probably give your left nut for.
I don't waste any time hating anybody. I have absolutely no hatred or harbour any of that towards anyone at all. I think that's part of people's problems. They do. They've not dealt with that side of things yet. There's absolutely no need to harbour hatred towards anybody, and that's not what it is for me either. But humans are humans, and there's people who, for me, play divisive, manipulative games, and I can spot these things coming. And I'm, you know, in an ideal situation, man, like yourself. Oh, everybody pulls together, but not everybody gets it, and not everybody gets it to the level that is required. There are people who don't want everybody to get it, who want to keep things divided, and we need to realise that and embrace that and deal with it and accept that it is actually a part of life. You know, there are people who are just wired differently. You know, whatever makes them different is a whole other, you know, question. But the fact that they are different has to be accepted and realised. You know, well, no, this is not about some, you know, transformation and everything's all of a sudden everybody's going to become love and light, some new agey fucking nonsense. You know, it's just that a certain mindset has taken the reins, and good people have sat back and let it happen. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's true. I had some good. I told Marshall too. I had some good news, but I can't really remember what it was. But I used to write all the time, and I'm writing again like a mother. Like I'm just like I can't get it down quick enough, and that's a good sign. Like my creativity's back. And all I can do is talk from my own experience, but I hope that it resonates out there, because like someone like me, like I've been depressed, I've been confused, I've been lots of things, but since coming across this, it's just like, ooh.
Yeah.
And everything's just come on strong. Big awakening, a lot of ideas, a lot of energy, a lot of stuff I thought I'd lost.
Yeah.
All coming back.
Excellent.
Can't be the only one. Can't be the only one that's happening to.
No. There's loads of things going on. Loads of things. My wee experience the other night of I don't know if you caught up with it, with the three lads who were part of a kind of religious expedition. Great wee experience. But you know, I never had a chance to update on the rest of the story. You know, coincidence, whatever you like. The guys went off. I dropped them off, and they went about their business. They messaged me later on that day to say that the money that I had given them to get bus tickets was much appreciated, and they were really thankful. But they were £5 short of getting tickets direct to London. right, which was the destination they had to get to. Then I hadn't heard from them for about an hour and a half, and then I received a text message from them saying that it's okay, we found £5 in the snacks that you gave us. So I'm looking at my missus and I'm saying, if we were at £5 short, I would know about it. We are that skint that we would know if we were missing £5. So how did £5 end up in the snacks? And she's kind of looked at me, and then the pennies dropped. And she said, they must have won £5 from one of the packs of crisps we gave them, which is exactly the scenario. A 1 in 5,000 chance, apparently, that you win a £5 within a pack of these crisps or chips for the American audience. So they were £5 short, and they found £5 in the packet of crisps. Huge coincidence, if you like. You know, people can look at it whatever way they want. You know, I know how the experience was for me and how I felt about it. But you know, there was certain wee things that went on with that whole experience that I had to question and have a look at, especially that with them finding the £5 that they needed. You know, so.
Can I ask you one thing before I jump out? Because I've been thinking about it a lot lately. I know you're not a religious man, and to be honest, neither am I.
Yeah.
My mum has meditated my whole life, but that's another thing. And that brings her peace. But I will say, do you ever feel be honest, that something is on your side? Just a feeling that you're not alone in this battle?
If you're talking about a metaphysical aspect, then, you know, for me personally, I think there is an aspect to that to life.
Just like a feeling.
Yeah. My whole problem with religions is no, you know, every aspect of every religion. It's just the whole full objective truth parts that bother me. But
no, I'm not trying to put you on this. Just I haven't got brothers and sisters, so I've always felt that there's something with me for whatever reason. Helps me.
Yeah, well, who knows, man. As I say, I have contemplated that this whole thing is something that is happening out with any human's control. You know, I've got to consider all aspects and all possibilities, man. So I don't rule anything out, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess you got me going the other day, and I've ended up coming way back down to earth, not thinking about dome, not thinking about ice rings and infinite planes, and you've got me thinking about naturalistic, materialistic, serious.
Realism.
You've got me on this real deep level. It's you. You did it. Because I asked you, and
don't blame me.
No, I'm not blaming you. It's good. It's good. It's like when something resonates, it resonates, and there's so much swirling around up here. But I saw these otters on a nature show, and they all ganged up together, and they backed off an alligator or a crocodile, but they did it as a team.
Yeah.
And just the way they did it, they were way smaller than that big crocodile.
Yeah.
And I thought, whoa, there's something going on here.
Well, that's it, man. That's what I'm saying. If we can get enough people together, thinking critically and being strong, then we will flush the crocodiles or the rats. You know. So, good on you, mate. I appreciate you coming on again, Merrill.
Good on you. Sorry to crap on.
That's all right, man. All right, appreciate you coming. It's always a pleasure, mate.
You too. Take care, Del. See you, Marshall. See you, everyone.
Nice one, Merrill. See you later, man.
Be easy, bud. How's things, people? We sent. How are we going?
Illuminati, your link's out, dude. And VB, I haven't forgotten about you, man. We just, we do it in sequential order.
We are in the middle of a ratings war, people. We are having a ratings war at this very moment in time. Shit, we better get entertaining, Marshall, or we're going to lose the audience, man. Oh, for fuck's sake.
I'll get me 2-2 on, mate.
I'm going to turn the shed into Saturday Night Live. I'm going to have my in-house band, and we're going to have, you know, musical guests every Saturday. If you would like to take part, please send in an application form. Let's see if we can win the ratings war, people. Lots of little tests going on at the moment, methinks, to see where the sway lies, to see who has loyalty where. I think that is what's happening right now. So we have requests for other links, do we?
Yeah, Illuminati was after a link, dude. That's been sent. And obviously Validation Boy's waiting.
Cool.
No, we don't really want a collision going on because we've got a couple of other links out as well, dude, that people haven't showed. Matt C was saying that because he's got no camera, he'd rather do it over the phone. I'm sure he's got the number. I'll drop the. Illuminati, you made it, man.
Mic check, microphone check. Can you guys hear me?
Bit more volume, dude, if you got it.
I apologise to whoever it is that's calling the mobile right now, but I've just had somebody arrive in the hangout, so I'm going to have to ignore that until this is over with, and then if you want, you can phone back. So, Illuminati, how are you?
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Anybody?
Yes.
Bit more volume, dude, if you got it.
Will do. 1 sec. Mic check. How's that?
Yeah, that's better.
Good. Hey, Del. How you doing, man?
How you doing, man?
Merle, I wanted to agree with you on that. You're completely correct when you say that Del's been taking us away from the theoretical thoughts that we've been having and focusing on things that we can see and prove. I myself was trying to speculate before I even figured all this out. I was in aliens and whatnot. And I'd always love to dive into those theories and you know, believe in things, but you know, Del showed us all that we can't do that. We're just as bad as the opposite side. We have to keep focusing on what we have, what we see, and showing other people, because it's proof. If you speculate, people go, "Oh yeah," and then they stick to their own beliefs. But proof, you really can't. You can't get away from the tangible proof. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great place.
Oh yeah.
Keeps you grounded.
And just a great thing that you did as well with those people that were on their mission. You know, if everyone took some time to make videos of stuff like that instead of cats and things that they're doing with selfies and ice bucket challenge and all this crap, you know, it's just like start flipping the script and start showing some people some humanity out there. And you did that inadvertently. You're all flat earth, and then hey, here's an opportunity. And everyone needs to do that and kind of just change this way that we think about ourselves all the time, because it's not just ourselves, it's everyone around us.
Yeah. Spot on, man.
Oh yeah, and a lot of stuff going on in chat down there, man. Do you pay attention to that often?
Yeah, it's hard when I have somebody on, you know, trying to give focus and attention to whoever's speaking. But, you know, once you leave, if I don't have any guests, I'll get a wee opportunity to go and see what's happening in the chat. What, am I missing anything?
No, nothing really valuable. It's just a bunch of infighting, which I'm definitely guilty of myself. I just get so upset when I'm typing on a keyboard. I think if half of those people maybe decided to come in and just say something in the beautiful panel you give us to speak on, you know, this is why it's here. It's for you. It's for you talking about your stuff, and then you know, you invite us to come out and say what we want, and it should stick to the topic. But at the same time, too many people are hiding behind their computers nowadays. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, that was part of my reason for calling that out. Calling their bluff and opening the platform and saying, well, if you've got something to say or any claims to make, then here's your opportunity. There's a platform, let's have it. But you get so many who just refuse and want to stay in the comments and be divisive, you know?
Definitely. Yeah, there's too much of that out there, and everyone's calling everyone a shill. Everyone's a shill expert, and they know this is a shill, and everyone's a professional at calling out each other as shills. It's hilarious.
Yeah, well, as I say to people, I try and keep it simple. If my quest is to find out the objective truth about the internal combustion engine, and I come across groups of people who claim to be representing the truth of the internal combustion engine, and all that I'm met with is, I don't like him, and I don't like his hair, and you know, then I would know that these people are not really there to share factual information about the subject. You know, and it's an easy way for me to tell people who are either stupid or have an ulterior motive for what they're actually doing. You know.
Yeah, no one can really call it what it is because there's probably so much stuff going on all at the same time that if anyone sticks to one and they forget another, then someone else believes in that other one, and then they go, oh, well, you don't believe what I believe, you know, this person's a shill. You have to just look at the work, you know, look at the body work. I'm new on YouTube. I know I'm getting ready to start doing this. I don't even know how I'm going to approach it yet, but I want to start putting my work out there to prove that I'm not someone that's just behind a keyboard or claiming to be something I'm not because I have a lot of hits or views. If you don't have the content, then what are the people, what are they clinging to? Is it just a voice? Is it just a presentation with nothing, no substance? It's all potatoes and no meat. You know?
Well, I think they're just waiting for people get into that mindset of waiting for somebody else to take it forward. It's much easier just to elect somebody who suits your personal preference and put your faith in it that they're going to somehow lead you forward and, you know, walk us through the golden gates. You know, people get stuck there.
That's what all the superhero movies are about. Sit back and let the hero take care of it for you. Don't worry. That's why they keep drilling this in our minds. There's always someone that'll do something. You don't have to. And it keeps you in that mentality that you don't have to go out there and do anything because, oh, the next person might, or, oh, Superman will fly in from another planet and save us. Yeah, it's just, it's crazy.
Yeah, and any real truther or any real honest person would be discouraging people from that behaviour. You know, saying, why are you sitting waiting for me? People, get up off your ass and go and achieve things, get things done. You know, make waves. You know, not just come here every Saturday or whenever you decide you're going live to sit and listen to me and my buddies waffling on, you know, and taking your money at the same time. You know? Right.
You're teaching people a branch of psychology. This is something that's in universities. People can prove it. They're studying it, and you don't even like try to. It just comes naturally. You just start talking about, you expose what it is. This is that. This is this. And someone that's taken psychology back at college, I'm picking up on some of these tactics that you're talking about. And over the last 6 months since I've been watching you, I'm like, I've honed my shill spotting skills, and I know how arguments or debates can lead to nothing, and you got to avoid all these things because these are the detractors that you mention on a daily basis that they want everyone to get involved in.
Yeah,
and just come out with content, a video, something that people can't debunk. You got to stick to it, because if you start speculating, you're going to lose everybody out there that could be a potential watch.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's hugely important, that. And thanks for highlighting it. It's good that people like yourself realise that and apply the tools now, because it's once you get them, as you know yourself, you can testify to it, as you just have done. It becomes so easy to spot where the agendas lie. We might not know what the full agenda is, but we can identify where the games are being played and who by.
Right. And someone that doesn't play those games but talks about them and tries to help others see them, there's no one could ever possibly look at that and go, this person's trying to deceive me, because they're exposing deception. Yeah. You can't say that someone's deceiving you by helping expose deception. That's like an oxymoron.
Yeah. That's it. It's like, if I was just sitting here saying, the fire's burning you, the fire's burning you, look, the fire's burning you. I'm never saying to people, well, here's how to avoid the fire.
Yeah,
here's how you put the fire out, But and for me, that's where I'm looking for people who are claiming they're truthers, and anybody who's honest and saying that they've been involved in this for a long time. Then for me, they should be pushing that exact message.
Right. That's right. And it's all it's the personality, it's the person delivering the message. You know, people are complaining about you. Oh, you don't have the proper voice, or you can't reach enough people. You don't have the appeal. And well, look at Joe Rogan. He has a podcast with millions of subscribers. He has a little comedy aspect to it. You know, he's a good talker. He's just a jester. He's the comedian that people are now listening to for you know, scientific advice that he himself has no proof of. And yet he defends it, you know, with a sword and a shield, just as if it was some type of thing that all of a sudden now he's on the science wagon. Because if you've seen him prior to that, he was definitely in the conspiratorial realm for a very long time. And the obvious flip should make anybody with eyes to see able to see that he's been compromised.
Exactly what I was just going to say. For people with eyes to see that, you know, guys like him are so transparent. So transparent.
Yeah, it's literally, it's comical. And, you know, I used to be a Joe Rogan fan. You know, when I was in college, I used to watch his comedy. I'd listen to him talk. Fear Factor was a cool show when I was a kid before I stopped watching television. But he was always someone there that I could think of as an idol. And recently I've lost my idolism for celebrities. You know, they're all nothing to me anymore. But I still look at Rogan and I know what I liked about him. But now when he opens his mouth and he makes every other show about flat earth somehow and trying to debunk it, and he's inviting guests on that have websites that have been run for years to debunk things that we all know are conspiracies. And it's so obvious he's pulling in all the strings, you know, and bringing in all these puppets just to keep the dialogue going in anti-flat earth direction. Yeah,
and that's it. You know, that latest guest was it Mike something?
Mick West.
Mick West. You know, I watched the first, you know, I think I squeezed 10 minutes, but within the first couple of minutes, you know, I just had established exactly what the angle was going to be. And it was a couple of like little girls teetering and laughing, you know, look how cool we are and these guys are retarded. You know, every fucking logical fallacy in the book. You know, and absolutely nothing in the way of actual measurable proof for their globe. Nothing, none. And I skipped on and just skipped through it, and I think it was just a continuation all the way to the end. You know?
Right. And they don't even invite anyone else to come on. The only person they did to counteract their arguments was Eddie Bravo. Oh, you know, the knowledgeable, most incredible flat earther out there. They couldn't find anyone better than Joe Rogan's best friend, Eddie Bravo.
Well, see, this is it. The Globe disciples throw at me that, oh, you just go to hijack people in the street, where, you know, people like myself are going into universities and mainstream media outlets and trying to force and push discussion and get guys like Joe Rogan to have us on to speak properly and rationally about it. And they say that we are the ones who sit in circle jerks and don't try and branch out, when these are the people who are so insecure with a religious belief to protect, and they display it by, just as you say, you know, they sit in a circle jerk with controlled people, you know, and don't let anybody outside of their circles have a say on the matter, you know. It says everything about them.
That's right. And it's, you know, they make it seem like we're coming at it just because it was an idea, you know, not that we have proof or videos or a good presentation to back up what we're talking about. And, you know, there's an answer for all of their questions. And yet every time somebody answers it or shows it to them, they have, you know, they have a reason why that's wrong. And it just backpedals a little bit more based into what, you know, the theoretical science tells us. I was trying to figure out yesterday what they believe is holding in our high pressure system compared to the low pressure system. So I'm like, let me look up the official answer. So I go on Google, I'm typing, you know, what keeps the Earth's atmosphere, you know, in a pressurized system without a barrier, something along those lines.
Yeah.
And I got the explanation. It was pretty consistent on 3 websites, but what are they called? Stratospheric gases. And then I looked those up to see what they were, and it's just nitrogen, helium, oxygen, stuff like that up there. The heavy layers of these gases are, and held in by gravity, is making like a membrane around the Earth, sealing in the oxygen, and you know, a couple more things. But they had these boring charts and these boring, like, it wasn't even formatted nice to read. It was like intentional, so you look at it quick and go, okay, they have an answer for it, and then you click off.
Yeah.
But I was laughing because I'm like, oh my God, I used to believe this. Not that I ever looked into it, but if somebody told me that's what it was, I go, okay, that's what science says. It's true. But now I'm like, what? Can you recreate this in a lab so we have proof that this is possible on some scale? We can go microscopic with robots and technology, but we can't shrink down a mini version of Earth and test these things for ourselves. Like, come on.
One practical example. You probably find many pages of their garbage and their explanations and wee diagrams and drawings, but you will never find a practical example or application anywhere, because they know it's utterly ridiculous.
Because it's impossible. They can't do it.
No. So it's not scientific, and that's that with these people. They don't want people like us who can point out what's real science and what's pseudoscience. And they know they will be called on it if they give airtime to the likes of me or anybody else who pushes this type of message and can articulate it in that way. They know that they're going to look ridiculous. So they have to keep it controlled and a little circle jerk. And keep it safe, and hope that their nonsensical, illogical behaviour sways people. But in reality, they're only going to be swaying stupid people. They're not going to be swaying anybody that really matters, who has the eyes to see.
Right. And people that claim to know about this, and they go, oh yeah, and they might say that they're in a secret club, or they escaped from some other brotherhood that was teaching them things. Like, for instance, I don't want to bring it up, but the person you spoke to recently, it was an admitted 33 or 32 degree Freemason, and I got away from that because it was, I figured out what it was. And, people that were in that club at that level would not break away and go rogue like that. It's a lot of time and effort you have to put forward to even, elevate yourself to a certain level. So, that right there is a little suspicious when I start hearing people say they used to have affiliations and they know, so you should listen to them. And the scientists are the ones that don't even come out with that information, although they've been proven that some of these people are also in these clubs. But if it was so, accepted and open and not sinister, why wouldn't people flaunt this idea? And why is it such a secret that we're finding out that presidents and scientists and celebrities are all in these clubs that we know about but don't really know about? It's more speculation and theory. It's just it's entertainment.
We witness these things in everyday life, even in our social circles of cliques and people who band together and have common interests, and we see that type of behaviour. It's not hard for people to grasp that it goes on at a deeper level and a higher level with people with huge wealth.
Yeah.
So
money is power. Money, one eye. It's the eye in the pyramid.
Yeah, people are people.
And what I don't get, this is the biggest one that's been boggling my mind, but the government prints money, right? And the government, they're going along for the ride too, right? They're all supposed to believe that they don't know why we're here, what's going on, but they have our best interest in mind. So instead of throwing money into NASA directly from the Federal Reserve or printing it at will, they need to take it from you and me and everybody around, one by one, a little bit at a time, to pay for these things that should just be free. We should be pumping resources if this was something that helps us explore our universe or understand our life. They should be throwing money, but instead they need all of us to buy into it. We have to pay for these things, against our will. But when we try to see that they're fake, we can't admit that we paid for something we don't like. It's buyer's remorse. So they make you buy into it literally.
That's it. That's it. People don't like to admit that they've been had.
Right. It's easier to fool someone than to say they've been fooled, right? Is that the quote?
That's it. That's the very one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's it. That's the way people are. So it has to be subtle, and that's for me. That's I just go an indirect approach, and you don't let them have those realizations there and then in the spot. They will have them in their own, and it'll be easier for them to deal with when they don't have, they're not trying to save face or feel ridiculous, in front of anybody. So.
And I'm also struggling with trying to understand if people are just ignorant or dumb, or if they're purposely, being a troll, especially in some of these comments. Because one guy, it was probably about 20 minutes ago, said that, water can curve. You know, it sits in the bottom of a glass, a curved glass. It curves. Now, in my head, I'm like, that's hilarious. You know, I think that's a joke. But
Yeah.
does this person actually think that that's proof of curvature when we're talking about, obviously, the surface?
Yeah, no, it's misrepresentation. You know, they're talking about meniscus, which is well documented, well understood. I've addressed it so many times. We get meniscus and surface tension,
Right.
but these are like on small scales. They're no representations of the actual claim, which is vast bodies. What happens when a body of water, when water droplets collect together? What are the physical attributes and behaviours of a liquid then in that state? So we know that, you know, these guys are either, you know, as you say, deliberate, or they're just so desperately trying to cling to a belief that they will go for any bias. And they don't like it when you point out that it's a misrepresentation of the actual claim either, you know. And I've heard so many, and I'm sure you yourself and anybody who's listening, you know, we get the drips of water on a branch, we get a drip of water on a coin, we get surface tension at the top of a glass, we get meniscus halfway down the glass, you know. And even when they're showing you these things, they don't even realise that they're proving the very point that that has to have some sort of container. You know, they're forgetting that the claim is that the body of water is conforming to the outside of an actual shape, a sphere.
Yeah.
So it's part of the sophism, where they use these manipulative tactics and try and implant an image in people's minds, you know, to solidify the belief that that's what's actually happening. I've covered this before when I spoke about, you know, the ISS, whatever the fuck they're up to with that, and they show you these blobs of water, and they put colour in it and blah, blah. You know, and people think, oh, what they're up to is just trying to implant an image in people's minds that the earth is round with water stuck to the outside of it, and water behaves like this in a vacuum, and look. You know, although we've never proved that we do live in a vacuum, we live in pressure. You know, it's just part of the sophism to try and implant that image in your mind to get you accept the claims that they're making, you know?
Right. Right. And I show these things to people and I point out how, you know, do you believe this is real? Oh yeah, well it's right there. Okay, but this is a video. Like you realize that there's movies, there's TV shows that have better graphics than what NASA puts out. It's almost like they put it out in a boring, unimpressive way. That way, you know, when I was a kid, I was looking at it. I'm like, oh yeah, NASA. You know, I didn't want to watch 24/7. I wanted to take a look, and then I wanted to go back to something more entertaining. So it always implanted the idea, you know, a deeper level that these people are doing things, they're putting out content, it's kind of boring, I don't want to look at it. But I would acknowledge that it was real. I never questioned it because it didn't get into my brain enough. So when I see these people in the space station, it's boring. They're standing there with their arms crossed, bouncing up and down. Oh yes, we're doing good, you know. And then at the end they do their backflip, you know, and it's like, wow, you know, this is still something we have to prove to people by doing a backflip. Like they should be doing 50 times the amount of awesome stuff up there than they are now.
Yeah, they're giving us absolutely fucking nothing. It's just a joke. Waste everybody's time, energy, resources. It's an absolute nonsense that has to come down soon, you know. The comedy, as you say, talking about Joe Rogan and the jesters, that's what I look at these people at now. You know, I cringe so much when I see any footage of them now. You know, and I have to stop it because it can bring about that anger in you. You know, like you look at these people and go, you know that you're barefaced lying. You know, I know that you are barefaced lying looking at these people, and they're still at it, they're still pushing it, they're still doing it, and doing it with a smile on their face. You know, and it's hard. And if I keep watching it, I start to get fucking really pissed off about it. You know, so I have to pull myself away from it.
They have to know what they're doing, and it's obvious. Can you imagine being that person that every day you wake up, because everyone has to go to sleep, right? You go to sleep, you recharge, you wake up, and in the morning, you know that you're actively deceiving the entire population. And do you think that it's like you're actually doing good? Like, do they convince them? Oh, if you convince people they live on a ball, they'll act better. You know, if they don't, then they'll go crazy. And they go, okay, I have to do this. It's my task.
Well, that's a very good point. You know, for all we know, who are these people? What is their real background? You know, what programs have they came through? You know, what are they being told? What are their reasons? They might think, as you say, that they're doing it for good reasons. They're being convinced. We just don't know. Yeah, I think that's stuff that's later to be unravelled and, you know, understood. But hopefully we will get that kind of closure and resolve and find out exactly what they've been up to and how they went about doing it. You know, we get to see the whole lot. That's what I would like to see happen.
Yeah. And people tell us that more people are waking up by the day. They go, oh yeah, you know, we're all, there's more people, everyone that's a flat earther has to tell someone else, and they really don't ever give up, and someone will eventually get broken through too, and then they become a flat earther. And you know, it's true, you know, once you find out, you don't stop talking about it. Like my parents want to throw me off, you know, out of the house. I'm talking about this shit so much. So when you start spreading the word and you try to, like, not convince people, but you're just showing them evidence, it's just evidence that they otherwise wouldn't have seen or looked at before. And once you might break through, I have yet to do it. I've never broken through to someone and had that pleasure of saying that my work has been complete. Everyone I talk to thinks we're crazy, but to do that, to have someone finally like break through and have a story of someone go, yeah, you know, I finally got through to my friend, and then now he's telling people, or she's saying, you know, spreading the word out there to everybody. Like, we need more videos of that to show people, hey, you know, this is how I got through to my friend over 5, 10, 12 months. You know, if it takes that long, we can't wake people up in 2 days or 3 days. You know, I know it was at least a year for me.
That's why I push that method, the Socratic method of questioning and planting seeds, indirectly. It worked great for me, and I know I've heard from many other people who have employed that type of tactic, and it works for them. So
yeah. There's it's crazy. I'm trying my best to stay grounded. I'm still doing my life. I'm still enjoying the things that I always did, minus some entertainment and media aspects. But I hear about these incidents that are happening. I live just outside of New York City, so I heard there was a car attack down there, and whether it's real or fake, who the hell knows? But when you look at the evidence, we can come to some crazy conclusions, going, "Oh, that's real," or "Oh, that was fake." We know they're doing hoaxes and stuff, but that type of evidence is still speculative.
Yeah,
but when I look at flat Earth evidence, there's no speculation; it's measurable. It's 100%.
Again, it comes back to the information and why it would be important to you if it's not in your direct experience. I don't know why people get invested in feeling like they have to know exactly what went on, or it somehow matters to them on an emotional level. Things like the incidents happening, they're not in my direct experience. It's not something I can work with at all. That means absolutely nothing to me. So, yeah. So, listen, man, thank you very much for coming on. I'm going to clear up and answer some messages on the phone here and see if there's any other links out to anybody else.
Not a problem. It was a pleasure, Del, and keep up the great work, man. Thank you so much for having this platform for people to come to, and I can listen to other people talk the way I do, to people around me. So it's a great way to show people that there's more of us out here. Let's keep spreading the word, and don't stop, man. You're doing a great job.
Thanks, buddy. Same to yourself. Appreciate it.
No problem. Talk to you soon.
Take it easy, man. Thank you. So,
I've got a mail here that's suggesting that this hangout can't be viewed by anybody that isn't signed in on a Google account now.
All right.
Which is a little bit prohibitive, isn't it? And also that on Android, the notifications aren't showing for the broadcast either.
So does this mean that I'm going to have to take up this other broadcasting option?
No, that isn't going to make any difference. What they're saying is YouTube won't allow the stream unless allow you to view the stream unless you are logged in on a Google account. Now, I don't know whether that's universal, so I mean, it'd be handy if some other people could check so we can sort of validate that while we're live.
Yeah.
But it sounds like more games being played to try and choke the message there, dude.
Yeah. I'll expect that. It's the same, and I'll address that right now in regards to some of the comments. Yeah. There's so much fuckery going on with the comments that it's just hard to keep up with. So I can only apologise to people for what is going on. It's out with my hands and Marshall's or anybody else's. It's to do with YouTube and its operations. There's things going on that I have no answers for. But as I said at the start of this in my polite voice, this message is a real problem for anybody who has a manipulative agenda to deceive people en masse. So it will be a problem if that is the plan. If it was really just, you know, something that was happening organic or from some other dimension, something that's not with our control, then it's going to come regardless of what anybody does. But I'm not going to leave it up to that chance, and neither should any of you. You know? For me, there's obvious games being played. You have to ask yourself why. If you think it's to shut it down, it's too late for that. It's too far gone. So that leaves you with, you know, only a couple of avenues.
Well, I've got confirmation, Dale, that is the case. You cannot view this stream without signing in on a Google account and confirming that you're over 18.
Really?
Yeah, that's coming back from the chat box now. Some people are getting notifications on Android, so we don't know what's happening there. But for sure, they're choking the audience, or the attendance rather. Silly games. I've got VB's link here. He's been waiting a while, dude. So
Cool. Well, I'm going to respond to a couple of messages while I'm waiting.
your link's out, VB, and as I've refreshed, I've got some others that will be interested in seeing coming in a bit later.
Shall I read the comments? And I'm more, sorry, Marshall, I never heard that.
It probably didn't make any sense anyway, Del. Like I said, I've just refreshed my page and we've got some other people awaiting links for later. So
Go.
As we go, VB.
Dale, give a shout out to Kieran McCrory from the north of Ireland. He's been fighting a brain tumour with cannabis oil successfully since diagnosed. Thing is, amongst many truths, Kieran woke me to the finest truth of all, our flat and stationary plane. Thanks, Crow. Thanks, Dale. Your man Killuminati seems switched on in an honest fashion, at least. Again, cunty balls. Great show. Fuck you, Fanny Boys. But Kieran, good on you, man, and I hope you get well. Keep up the treatment. Be nice to hear how that all goes, to see if you get the all clear from it by keeping up the treatment. So, cheers. Shout out again to Kieran McCrory. All the best, man. Can we discuss Devil Tower and Basalt Columns, Dale? Think it would be a good topic. I heard this place is a quarried wasteland and Maasai's are tree stumps. Have a look at Subphotronic page, Dale. Don't know if you're aware of the tree thing. I didn't know about Flat Earth till your street vid's amazing. What's hidden from us? Cheers, man. Can't watch unless you're signed in, like just tried it, mate. Okay. I'm well aware of these things about the trees and stuff, and that's an avenue of research for people. For me, like all the other stuff, the trees and all these other aspects and topics are already here. They are here, but for me, it's about establishing where here actually is. And if we establish that we're stuck here, then maybe we can start figuring out what's going on and what all these things are. Not that, you know, I'm saying people shouldn't investigate these things, but for me, I'm more along the lines of finding out exactly where it is I am. Never mind what's here, you know. Hi Dale, just heads up, your hangout tonight has been flagged up with a content warning, as in it can't be watched unless you log in to verify your age. So your view count will be down. Obviously another troll attack on or YouTube censorship. Well, who knows? It would seem so. Evening Dell, great video with the two French girls. Watching their faces when things sank in was awesome. I do spread the word as much as I can, not on the same level as you, as often as I often get stumped on something. One such time was last weekend when I got asked how the seasons work on the flat plane with the Earth smaller and closer. Also, if the Earth's closer, why isn't it get hotter as we climb mountains, etc., and get closer? Thanks if you can answer. Well, that would be the same for the true for the globe model anyway. If it was a globe, it's, you know, it doesn't get warmer. And if you're getting stumped, as I say, it's important for you to understand the subject, and that you're not really there to answer all these silly questions. You should be pushing to them that you focus on the claim. You don't know where you are. You just focus on the claim that's been made to everybody that, you know, was born into this. And how the seasons work. Well, you can say that if the sun is local and moving in an outward and inward motion, you're going to get seasons that gets further away from you. It's the same principles. But for me, you know, none of these things are actually established as facts as to what's going on and what the luminaries are. So they really don't come into it until you know exactly what these things are. What is it you're observing? You know, you should stick to the facts. You know, we're talking about the Earth. You know, what's the measurable proof for the Earth being an actual sphere? You don't get that by the luminaries or anything to do with the sky. You know, we're not measuring the sky. We're trying to measure Earth and its dimensions. So, I don't know if it's worth me doing a breakdown video on how to approach people and why I approach them in the way I do, and break it down into its individual parts to show and give examples of it. I'll see if I can get the time. Dale, I think you might be interested in Sir Patrick Moore's book, Can You Speak Venusian? It details independent thinkers, or more like critical thinkers, as we know. I think people will enjoy this read in terms of flat earth. Cheers, Chris F.E. Jackson. Cheers, Chris. I'll check that out. So, I'll have a wee drink. I'm going to roll a smoke and see what's happening in the chat while I'm waiting. Oh, I have a guest, sorry.
It's BB, man.
Oh, how do, man?
Hey guys, thanks for the link. Thanks for inviting me on here, Del. It's good to speak with you again.
Nice one, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I know you and me, we've had our crap in the past, and I want to get past all that. And I got a lot of respect for you, and I got a lot of respect for your channel and what you've been proactively going out there and doing with the public. And I believe that it is the best approach. The best approach is just a direct approach, like what you do. You know.
Yeah. Be indirect.
Mm-hmm. Well, so the latest news in the old flat Earth community is that one Mr. John LeBon has reemerged, and he's using what I call the Kardashian principle, or the Kardashian strategy, which is, in America, there's this family called the Kardashians, and they're fake famous, and the media just tells people that this family is famous, and the more they beat it into the public's head, the more the public believes that these people actually are famous. It's just a lie. They just tell people that. And I think that's what John LeBon and Tim Osman and P. Mars and Jed Skeptic, I think that's what they're all trying to do now. They're just trying to make claims and say that everyone is shifting away from flat Earth and going back to the globe when it's not true. I think that's their strategy now. And it's rather pathetic. And but I think that this whole sky thing, this whole not being able to use the sky because it's intangible, it's something that you touched on a very, very long time ago. And shortly after you touched on it, I touched on it. But lately, I've been driving this point home. I've been focusing on this one element of the flat Earth argument really hard. And it seems like this is one of the really big roadblocks that these guys are not going to be able to get past. Yeah. And they're in denial of the fact that no one's ever been to the moon or the sun or touch the edge of the sky, or these things are basically intangible, you know?
Yeah.
And And these guys are out there just pretending like we can use these things. And there's a young lady named Rusted Soul. I believe you know of her.
Yep. Yeah.
She's been getting on their videos and kind of laying the smack down on them about this obvious truth. And she was a guest on my show there a couple weeks back.
Yeah.
And then we also have, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, man, I'm just getting the light on. You go.
Okay, yeah, and then we also have a gentleman, Sean, Mindfulness Channel. I had got you and me. I had kind of attacked you early on, and I was wrong in doing that, and I was trying to put all that in the past, and then I kind of got sucked back in by Lori Gale, and I had a show with her, and she was trying to basically prod at you and try to run to me and Tim to try to get us to have her back against you. And I feel like it was a big mistake, and I got suckered into that whole thing, and I took that video down.
Well, for me, I'm past all these fucking silly games, mate. They are what they were, I don't have any time for them. Don't have any time for any of these people. And the names that you've mentioned are really totally irrelevant. They've got absolutely nothing to offer. They've offered nothing but discourse and division for people. They're no skeptics. They're no people who are interested in truth. They're manipulative liars who misrepresent people and go around acting like little girls, bitching and sniping at each other. And it's just very egotistical. And, as I say, I don't have any time for them, so I'm not even concerned about any of these characters, John LeGimp or whatever his name is. They have absolutely no relevance to this discussion whatsoever. They can try and shout and make themselves be heard all they like. They'll never have a voice here.
Yeah, understood. And the funny thing about John LeBon is that he says that all these hangouts are useless, and that nothing's getting anywhere, and that people are going to just keep being their normal sheep self, no matter how hard Flat Earth comes out and how much effort we put into it, no matter how many hangouts, how many street interviews we do. But then the guy goes and has his website, and he tries to make money off this very same thing that he says doesn't matter,
They're illogical and hypocritical. They're just, they're brain dead morons as far as I'm concerned. They have nothing to offer. And they're so delusional because they run around the internet proclaiming to be some sort of intellects and saviors and all these crazy notions that they push. They're like, I don't know if they're part of a fucking mentally ill group who's been let out in day release. But who knows? As I say, they're irrelevant. I've had my experience of these chaps. I wish them all the best in their endeavours, but they are of absolutely no use to me whatsoever, nor are they any use to anybody else,
Yeah, definitely. So I'm going to head out now. I just wanted to give Mindfulness a huge shout out because he's been doing some great work in this area. And I want to give you much props for, pointing this obvious reality out early on, and something I've clamored onto and taken, and I'm running with that ball. And as far as moving forward, you don't have to worry about any problems coming from me moving forward. I'm past that. I'm not hanging with that group of dividers anymore. And it's been a great honor to be on here, and thank you very much for letting me on, man.
Pleasure, mate. Take it easy, bud.
Oh, and one last thing. This Sky thing, this is a really big roadblock. People are not going to be able to get past this. We're waiting for someone to go up there and prove that these things are tangible and that they are where they say they are and that they're comprised of what they say they're comprised of. And until that day happens, they cannot use that argument. End of story.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Yeah, you're spot on with that. But I knew that from early on, and they knew it. I knew it. And you could see the weakness in them as soon as you put it to them. So it's hugely important, and good on you for pushing it continually and showing people that that's the case. Yeah.
All right. Much love to everybody in Flat Earth. It's great to be on here. Thanks again, Del.
Take it easy, man. Cheers. So, just to add to that about this guy and his validation boy said, until we know what these things are, they're nothing. And that is all they have, coupled with the images that they show you. That's everything that they have to offer. It's all they have had to offer. and you can break it down simply. Gives you no measurable proof of the shape of the earth whatsoever. And until we know and it's proven exactly what these things are and where they actually are, that will never be used. It doesn't even enter into the question. So couple of
Matt, see your links out, dude. We might have to bear with Matt a little bit. He's on Linux and he'll be on mic only. So.
Yep. Well, I might just go and have a wee look at some comments right now on previous videos. In fact, there's one comment that springs to mind about the whole experience for the 3 chaps on their journey being staged and whatnot. I mean, how could you even go about staging something like that? For me, that was a great experience, and I wanted to touch a wee bit more on that. And I was thinking about different aspects of it and why it was good. And as I said in the video, those guys who were here, for me, their outlook on humanity and how humans are towards each other will be totally different to maybe what it was before they had that experience. And just purely for that, it's a great task. I thought it was brilliant. And what a character building task to be taking part in. As I say, we looked at other traditions, and Gav was telling us about a German tradition where you get taught a certain trade or skill, and you go off into the world and you don't return for 3 years, and the only thing that you have is your tools, and you offer people your services for food and accommodation before you return. And it must be a great experience. What if the place was like that? For me, that's the way it should be. We offer each other our skills and we share resources. It's not fucking difficult. That's what we pretty much have right now, but the focus of people's skills and attention is on utter fucking nonsense. Right, I'm just going to go to the chat box and say hello to people. Hello everybody in chat. Channel Q, how come Rogan won't debate Matt Powerland? Oh, I'd hate to be calling it a debate. I think that's the problem with people like us. We know we're going to push it as not being a debate, and we're going to focus purely on the Globe claim. But, we know the reason why Rogan won't right now until he maybe gets the nod. Because Rogan is not clever enough to have somebody who knows what they're actually talking about, coming on. McGee found the good in people, saw the frailty of their situation, compassion is natural science. Well, it comes naturally to me, I've always said that. Getting a phone call. Hello.
Hi, is that Del?
Yeah, speaking.
Hi Del, how you doing, man? I was trying to get through on Hangouts just now, but I couldn't get on, so I just gave you a call. When I went to the page, it just gave me a thing about help with Hangouts, Yeah, so I was just going to do a thing about NLP.
Right.
Yeah, so I know you're kind of up on all this stuff, so it's really more for a lot of your listeners. Just for anyone listening, I've actually made notes on this, I'm just coming on for the first time. It's like you said, Bill, we're not professional TV people, that counts double for me.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I just wanted to talk about NLP and how it's relevant with regard to NLP and the media to do with Flat Earth.
Yeah.
I just want to outline what it is. If you've heard a bit about NLP and feel like it's something you want to know more about, as we get into it, I'm just going to talk about the pitfalls as they go along and what it is. So NLP NLP is a type of persuasive language which is used in many fields, particularly those linked to persuasion, like politics and other kinds of marketing and things like that. It's formed similar to natural speech, and that can be one of the pitfalls as you get into learning it, and I'll come on to that. One of the words that something like NLP brings up to mind is manipulation, but to me that seems quite provocative because it depends who's doing it and what's for, what it's for. I've got down here, I like to think of it like the Force in Star Wars, like the dark side and the light side. So we all know the dark side of manipulation. It's more likely negative people who want to destroy something rather than create something. And we all want to be persuasive to some degree, and we all want to put our points across. So it's not entirely negative to learn a more efficient way of doing it.
Yeah.
But it all comes down to perspective, and that's really a wider philosophical debate about NLP. You'll realise if you decide you want to learn more about it, how similar it is to normal speech. And when other people around you know it, and know that you know it, at first you'll begin to check yourself, and if you're not careful, it could have you in a flat spin. Because arguably everything I've said here is NLP, but I'm not actually trying to persuade you of anything. So just to outline how you're actually going to recognise it, if you think back to what I just said, I said something like, you'll realise if you decide you want to learn more about NLP. The part that's most relevant is you want to learn more about NLP. It's an embedded message or a command in the speech.
Yeah.
The best way to persuade someone, though, would be to say, if you've decided it's something you really want to do, and you know it'll be the right thing, if you know that NLP feels like a good thing for you, and you feel like you want to do it, you see these words like you feel like you want to do it and everything, just leading people down that line and hammering it home subliminally.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it's best learned and then forgotten about, like Bruce Lee said about martial arts when fighting. In the same way as being a martial artist doesn't assure victory, it's still a valid practice, and this stuff does really work, and that's why, politicians are really into it. And it's not all negative, but we do see the negative aspect of it when it's used in flat Earth.
Yeah.
I was trying to get specific examples, but actually, as I thought about it, I thought it'd probably be, a bit questionable legally as to what I could say. So off the top of my head, I saw one about Shaq, and it said, it's not fair to say that all flat earthers need medical attention or something along those lines. So
he's putting that in there.
Absolutely, yeah. So I just really wanted to put that out there so people can see it. As we come across it, and obviously the question always comes back: why are they doing it?
Yeah.
That's what I question anyway.
Well, let's find it.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
You've reminded me of a point that I've seen in a wee video the other day that I'm just going to try and find and maybe screen share that highlights exactly what you've just said, and wee subtleties and where they apply them. And it was actually a chap who was doing Google searches and asking what the curvature was from one place to the other. And then he asked it the question, is the earth flat? And instead of it just coming up with some information, it started, saying things like, oh, you would think that flat earth would have been gone by, us having air travel now and blah, blah, blah. I had to add in that wee kind of emotional, psychological sway, instead of just presenting the information that was there. Even the automated voice has been programmed to, kind of ridicule,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
So I'm gonna try and find that. So cheers for reminding me.
Yeah, no worries, Dale. I really enjoy watching this stuff and, taking part. So I was glad to just put that in because, it's something I've had an interest in when I was younger. But I think it's important to remember it's not all trying to persuade someone of something very natural.
Yeah.
And I think the word manipulation is because teachers do it with children all the time.
Yeah.
If you want to get somewhere, you need, what I mean? And it's natural too.
I've said this to people all the time. We need to employ these same tactics. The difference is that we're not trying to manipulate people into ignorance. We're trying to manipulate people into a place of empowerment. And that's the difference.
Yeah, that's great. That's all I've got to offer today, Albert. Thanks for having me on anyway.
Nice one. Cheers, bud.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Take it easy, bud. Cheers. So, right now, I'm going to have a wee scan through my history to see if I can find that video, and hopefully the chap who made it will not mind me screen sharing it. Can you remember, did I send you a link to it, Marshall?
I'm not sure what we're talking about here, dude. I've just been in comms with Veronica, who's asking for the link. She wants to come in and introduce herself, and well, it'd be great to hear from her. I mean, she's been doing some great work translating into Polish for us.
Excellent. I look forward to it.
Well, your link's out, Veronica.
Well, and
So
then
the video, mate, which one was it?
it's the one where the lad is asking Google questions. I don't know if I sent you a link directly yet, or I just told you about it.
No, we discussed it, but I didn't have the link.
Right, I'm just going to have a wee look quick and see if I can find it. Just talking about the translation. I don't know if anybody has translated the supposed Russian physicist. It'd be interesting to hear if anybody can confirm that what he's actually talking about is really, the shape of the Earth or whatever. Not looking for a full translation, but if anybody can get one, that'd be great. Just rather a confirmation of, if that is actually what he's talking about.
I've just dropped the Russian speaking link into the chat box. So if anybody's out there who can help us out too, that'd be cool.
Just bear with me. I see where this is. I'll find it. Maybe I won't find it. Oh.
Hi, Veronica.
Veronica.
Hello.
Hiya. You have to unmute your mic, Veronica.
Now?
Yeah, that's you. Hiya. Can you hear me?
I cannot unmute.
Yeah, that's you. You're unmuted now. I can hear you now.
Oh, I'm good now. Okay, good. Hello.
Hiya. So you've been translating into Polish?
We had to do something.
Yeah.
It's been since we found out. You just can't sit. You've been sitting for a month, 2, 3, and then 6 months, and we decided to do something. The only thing you can do really is give it to people further.
Yeah.
And you do such good work. It doesn't need to be any better than what you do already. It's just it needs to be passed on.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
No, you do fantastic work. It's phenomenal. You go out there, you're not afraid. You talk to people. It's unbelievable. The study of the reaction of people to this situation that they're in when they finally realize it's. I would do the same thing. Like it's because it's involving, but we had to translate it, and there is a challenge because you have to interpret some things. You can't just translate this. It's Google Translator translates. You need to convey the content so that people who speak different language or are in a different culture understand what you mean. And plus, there's a few curse words in there, and I try to avoid that. I do avoid that because there's no need for that. What it needs is for what you're actually saying.
Yeah.
The situation is awful.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's severe. I'm glad I could do it. We just don't know how to reach the folk now. Now we have something to pass on. We tried with a few people in our own circles that we know. So I think not everybody's ready because from our experience now, it turns out that the only thing they notice is the guy has tattoos. Yeah, but are you hearing what he's saying? But people need to be in the right frame of mind to understand, to have the time for themselves. It's like the two girls from the interview just recently. They said the same thing. It's I need to do my own research, and of course, like every one of us. So finally, it'll find someone who will catch on.
Yeah.
And from there it goes. So we'd like to do some more. we need to do the best of Dell because the videos are long and you do say things that need to be fished out of this whole 3-hour video, 2-hour video. The things you say about math being a language, those are things that once someone hears, they have to understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and I totally agree. There's a lot of the things that I've done are so long. And I even thought about that myself, with just extracting some things and trying to compile, just short, sharp pieces of information. But I really appreciate people like yourself who take the time to understand and translate. So I was going to ask, I think is it Poland you're in? Is that where you are?
No, we're in the Pacific Northwest, they call it. We're in Canada, on the West Coast. We live in Vancouver. It's the Wild West, somewhat. Yeah. We have not met anybody who thinks like us already, and it's scary to engage the conversation. We've tried to speak to our neighbors who are open-minded.
Sorry, I'm getting an incoming call here. Apologise. Sorry. Somebody was trying to call me there. Sam, hang on, man. I'll send you the link once my guest has left. Apologies, Veronica. Sorry, I was getting an incoming call there from somebody.
Yes. You are the man of the hour. It's not everybody's ready. It's difficult. I think you do need to choose people or have a way about you like you do. I think the interviews that you're doing, I don't think there were any, maybe with the exception of the one teacher that maybe dismissed it, but everybody will remember.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's profound. There's certain facts of reality when you point them to people. It's like their honesty, their internal honesty, can't ignore it. Maybe they could go away and convince themselves and delude themselves again, but that seed is definitely planted, and they will think about it. Which for me that's the most important part. It's not about trying to convince them. I don't expect to convince anybody. That's why I formulated a more kind of manipulative tactic, if you like, of just taking them to a place that you want them to get to on their own.
That's right. Well, one day they will sit down, and when they have a moment, when I say someone needs to be in the right frame of mind, they cannot be busy with things. They cannot be in the survival mode, which we've been in a long time. And in the last year, it's just we've been lucky enough that we could take the time and spend evenings and look at things and come to the realization. And then the first thing you want to do is share. But you're alone. You're so alone, and it's not fun.
That's why I think, as I said earlier, it is important for us to try and get it to people in any way we can, through entertainment means, whether it be comedy, music, art. These things are hugely important as well, because if you can capture people's attention, in any way you possibly can, then it has to be good. Some people can get it from having a direct conversation. Other people don't have time, as you said. You don't have time to look at it. But if you can affect them, through art or some other means, then we should employ these tactics.
And that's just it. So hopefully, with time, we'll find it. It is. Who's got time to do it?
Yeah.
Having a channel is probably not something we're going to do, but you can certainly spend the time and translate. And it does take a while if you want to do a good job. But once it's done, and it's there forever.
Yeah.
And if it takes a year to find someone who's wanting to listen to it, then it will.
Yeah, that's it. And then you reaching out to whoever you can directly in your own personal experience, makes a difference.
But my husband wanted to know. He's such a big fan. I admire your tactics. Well, not tactic. It's a way about you, not a tactic. Tactic is being expanded, but the most important thing in the world right now is finding out that this is. How did you find yourself in this situation? Because the first thing you try to realize is, how did this all start?
Yeah.
Where did it start as a slaves and masters, or were we all equal at one point? And if we were equal, how did it come to this?
Yeah, many questions.
Mm.
Many questions, you know.
And we're not going to get there. Exploration is most important, and if we had the means, we'd be there now. And you know, I haven't even been enough to know that it is forbidden to go there.
Yeah.
Is there a gate? Is there a border? Or can you go and it's just cold? And
Yeah. For all we know, there is no gatekeeping there at all. You know, we could probably, you know, entertain that. We could freely just leave. You know, for all we know, there is absolutely nothing keeping us here other than the fear of the unknown or going and looking.
we're in Canada. Theoretically, we actually border the North Pole directly.
Yeah.
We haven't tried, but I think this is, instead of, you know, any dream vacations, that's what we're going to do. Try to get as far north as we can.
Excellent.
Report. Because
Yeah.
you know what you find, right?
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to say. I wanted to, you know, like, we are a real person, real people. We do find the best content we possibly can. We can't translate everything, but we can translate some and pass it along further. You do good work. If you know, if I had any power or authority, I would knight you for what you do, because it is that important.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Veronica. Really appreciate it.
Can my husband say hello or goodbye? Yes, he's here. Here you go.
Hi there, how's things?
How you doing, man?
Not too bad, mate.
Right.
Nice to see you. Finally, you know.
Don't get starstruck. Don't get starstruck, man. I'm just a man.
I'd like to say hello to Marshall and the Gav as well.
Ah, right. All of you. Fantastic.
Hi guys. I've just shared the link to your first translation in the chat box there, and well, with a little bit of luck, man, maybe you'll have some local people pick up with you from that.
Fantastic.
Nice.
All right. Not too many Polish people in Vancouver, but of course we have contacts in Poland, and it needs to. That arena in Poland is brutal. It's just religious content, and it's
So
misleading.
anytime you are saying about the religion, Polish people are not thinking about just the religion as the Catholic. You know, it's not about just beliefs.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll be important to get the message to them as well. Then I think there is a few Polish people who have requested me on Facebook and stuff. I've not had any direct conversations with them yet. So hopefully, but you know, I've experienced people from different parts of the world. So hopefully, it will start spreading there soon. You know. Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. Thanks for coming.
We'll be in touch, and we will for sure, you know, do some more.
All the best.
Please do keep in touch, definitely. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Take care. See you soon. So, what time are we on? 10. Mikey Short, you were going to come on and tell people about some of the activism you were up to as well. I've not heard from you. I'm not going to say anything, Mikey. I'm going to leave that and let you explain to people what you've been up to. If you still want that opportunity, it's there. Sam, you were calling. In order to get into this hangout, you would have to send an email to nocurve@gmx.com so that we can send you the link to come straight into the hangout from there. I don't know what would happen if I answered your call here.
More than likely crash us out though. So the link's gone out to Lisa Hawk. I apologise for anybody that is still waiting and is going to be waiting for a while. Obviously, we need to go through things sequentially, and it sort of pays dividends having individual speakers, Del, don't you think?
Yeah. So who was it? No, I see Russian Vid says. Did he get the same response? No, I'm going to look for. Well, there seems to be a few there that have done that. Anyway, it was ask Google if the Earth is flat, and it comes up saying something about Metro. Here is the 10 best.
Dude, I'll preempt you there, man, because somebody in chat's put us good on it, and I'll link you into the exact address right now. It's on Max Malone's channel.
Right. I don't know if this is the one I got, so I'm not sure. Is it? Wait a minute.
Google.
Yeah, this is the one.
New York.
For reference, though, Chris FE has just checked using Google Voice. Well, I'm not, and it asks if the Earth is flat, and the response comes back: here are 10 proofs that the Earth is actually flat, not round.
All right.
So he's just tried that live while we're on air.
Excellent. Well, this one gave a different response. It says something about. Hang on, I'll find it.
Shit.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
That is fucked up. How far is
distance from Japan to Greenland?
type in on any? Especially when I can ask Google any fucking thing I
Hang
want.
on, I'm just trying to find this.
In less than 1/10 of a second, it will give me the correct answer curvature. Okay, we have GPS, which can measure curvature. We have lasers, which can measure curvature. But there isn't any technology that we've used. Coordinates, miles, you name it. It's on the fucking map. On this demonic realm that we live in.
If I missed it, yeah, I'm in that. Yeah.
€1 equals 33.
3 fucking shit. Mumble something to measure. This is flat. No fucking thing you. It does not even.
No, I don't know where it is. I'm missing it. Oh, here it's
The
here.
Earth is actually flat, not round.
Is the Earth
So here.
flat?
According to Metro, here are 10 proofs that the Earth is actually flat, not round. A lot of people thought the fact that we all fly around in aeroplanes would put paid to flat Earth theory, the idea that our planet is in a sphere, but instead a sort of pancake thing.
So there, that was the added part. You know, why did it have to have that added part on it there? You know, that's part of the NLP, part of the slight ridicule. So this mouse is playing up here. So I'm waiting on a guest, am I?
We got 3 links out. Elisa, I hope that you're the last one to, or most recent one to take the link. I don't know if you're still there, man. Tell us to roll on, mate, because there are other people waiting. Obviously, everybody understands about the courtesy if there are other people speaking. So
Yeah. The time as well, I mean, we're at 10 o'clock, so. Bear with me here. Getting Frank Bowes is saying he might make an appearance. He's at a bevy at the moment, but he might make an appearance later. Good on you, Frankie boy.
that's a link out to Steve Watts.
So I'll go to the chat just now while I'm waiting. Skyfly Briar will fly over Dell's shed soon. It's not easy to do as it's in Glasgow airspace, and that makes it hard to do. But flown from Strathaven loads of times and may have been over Dell's shed before I knew it. But were you coming to take me a run? Alan Sturgeon just looked at the Polish translation, question mark, where is it? I only got Dell talking English. It's on, what's the name now?
it's subtitled though. It's not overdubbed.
Aye, that's it. Aye, subtitled. I'll make you look through the channels and put a link there. Martin Leakey, how you doing? Never pay it, never will. What we're talking about here. Tiger Claw 1000. I speak Russian. I can translate what that Russian guy said. I send an email. That would be very nice if you could do that. Could you just affirm, or let us know if he is actually talking about the subject?
I've linked the guy into. He can come in and explain from there. Tiger Claw, your link's out, man.
I thought you were in Edinburgh. No, Paisley. Derek F-Bomb, how you doing, man? He's going to drop in. No, everybody gets free pasta and munchies when you come here. You better have good reason to be here for me to feed you.
So we got a guest though.
Oh.
Yeah, hey guys, it's me, Tiger Claw, from the chat.
How you doing, man?
Hey, yeah, I was saying that I speak Russian, and I do indeed. I was born in USSR technically, and I found the original video of that claimed scientist, Russian scientist, talking about a flat Earth.
Yeah.
And what I can confirm, here's the original video of him talking, is that he was indeed talking about the flat Earth. Right, there's the link. However, I could not find any verification of him being an actual scientist of any sort. At the end of that monologue that he mentioned that he had somebody on his show. Right.
Oh, was that the guy that had Dave Murphy on? Well, it's ringing a bell. He looks like him. Is that the same guy?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not
Is
really.
Is that not Macedonian TV or something?
Oh, I don't know.
It was Macedonia, dude.
Was it the same guy actually? Penny's just dropped here.
I'm not sure. I'm not familiar enough to be able to confirm that.
So you search. I'm going to have a wee look for the guy's name as well and see what it's saying here. So you're saying that he's not a confirmed physicist or anything like that then, no?
No, I could not find anywhere that he's a confirmed physicist. I tried looking using his English sort of abbreviation of a name and also in Russian. Could not find any confirmation of this. I did see in some of the comments, actually I think in the comments of that video that I linked, somebody suggested he's an actor of sorts, and somebody linked to a Russian sort of EMDB equivalent website.
Right.
Where somebody who looks like him is described as an actor, right? So I'm not sure about that. But I have to say that I'm a Glober, right? So I'm kind of biased here, guys.
Right.
I'm actually from Earth Discussions 2.0. I don't know if you heard about us.
No, man.
Okay, we've been listening to your sort of hangout here. But I sort of heard you say, oh, if somebody could translate this and that. So
Yeah.
just sort of jumped on this. There we go. Yeah, but it definitely does talk about the flat Earth, and it definitely does say that.
Tiger, can I just cut in there, mate? I'll put a link in the group chat to the video we were sent, and there is an apparent biography listed in the description. I don't know. Take a quick look at that, dude.
Let me see. In the description. Okay. Major achievements. Graduate. Yeah, sure. Okay, wait a second. Graduate in engineering mechanics technology. Novosibirsk. Okay. Yeah, but the thing is, anybody can write that, right? And I tried just searching for that person's name plus engineering physicist. There is no article that pops up. I mean, he might be a physicist, sure. Some French guy, Thermopathy, University of Novosibirsk. I mean, that sounds legit. I think there's such a university in existence. But then again, anybody can write that in the description. Doctor of Science in Physics. Actually, let me see. Maybe I can find some something on the website of the university.
Well, it's something I'll need to have a wee, dig into myself and see what's going on. There's a bit of an anomaly there. But now that you were mentioning it, it looks similar to that guy who interviewed Dave Murphy on, I think it was Macedonian TV.
Are you talking about that Russian-speaking guy who interviewed this, not to sound racist, this black dude talking about gyroscopes?
No, it was Dave Murphy.
Dave Murphy.
Dave Murphy is, as you say, a black guy. But he was appearing on Macedonian TV. He had a half-an-hour slot on there. He covered a considerable amount of flat Earth proofs, if you like.
Right. He does kind of look similar. What is it? I'm gonna find. Actually, no, not that much. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I've seen this video before, but it seems to be a different guy who is interviewing him. I mean, he's white and old, gray-haired, sure, but beyond that, there doesn't seem to be any major similarities.
I'll need to check it out, but thanks for sharing the info that you had anyway, man.
No, you're welcome, man.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh wait, do you have to go, or can I ask some questions, or can you guys ask me some questions, or?
Well, you can make any point you want, man.
Okay, well, as I said, I'm a glober, right? So I don't agree with you guys here that the Earth is flat. I think there's ample amount of evidence that it is round. But I guess my question would really be, what motivates you to believe that the Earth is flat? What's your? Because I mean, I hear a lot about how this society that we have is incredibly unfair. Resources do not get shared fairly, right?
Don't conflate two different things. Just stick to the point. We don't have any beliefs about any type of flat or what the full dimensions are. I know that it's not a globe.
Okay, sure. So but what are your main concerns for? Okay, what are your reasons for not believing that it's round?
There's no proof that it's round.
Okay, sure. So you're saying there's lack of evidence. Okay, fine. I can present some, and I know a lot of people who can present as well, right? So maybe we can agree on some discussion.
Well, firstly, you have to agree to common sense reality. Firstly, we need to establish: do you accept the natural physics of water? Do you accept that bodies of water do not conform to the exterior of shapes? You cannot have a body of water with a convex surface. It does not support itself in that way. That is not natural science. It's not observable or testable or measurable anywhere. We go here by those principles, and we have to have that acceptance, or we cannot go any further in the discussion, because I can't sit here and talk with anybody who actively denies actual reality.
So I don't think any glober denies reality in that sense. We're talking about scale. So it is true that in most of our experiences on Earth, in fact, all of them, whenever we have a small amount of water, it always conforms to a container. But the thing is, would it be true on a massive scale, especially when you have gravity, which the globe model says there is, and we have evidence for gravity?
Do you have any practical examples
of gravity?
You just said that we observe it in any scale here, and it doesn't conform to shape. So if you're claiming something extraordinary, you have to provide proof. You have to provide an actual practical example. You're denying well-known physics, basic physics.
Well, no. So I'm saying that I agree with you that in most of our human experience, when we see water in a container, it does seem to comport with it. It doesn't curve. Like, we don't see water bulging up in a dish or in a bowl or in a bathtub. Right. The question is, if there was gravity, would it be attracted to a large sphere and in effect curve or round it on its surface? Right?
No, because it doesn't have the propensity. The molecules can't support themselves like that.
But they would not be. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it would be. They would be laying on the sphere, on the surface of it, as flat as they can, right? But they would be still comporting with the shape of the object that has gravity.
No, the water conforms to the shape of the container. The surface does not display any shape upon on its surface. No shape at any scale.
So,
the physical properties of water are just what they are. There is no denying that. If you want to claim that it's some unspecified, give me the scale that it has to be before the physics that we know start to change, and that the body of water will display convexity upon its surface.
Well, no, it's not the property of water to display convexity at a certain scale.
No, it's the property of water is to lie flat and level.
Exactly. It is find the shape that is the least resistant, essentially.
No,
right?
and
it finds the path of least resistance.
Yeah, but it doesn't have the capability to support itself in a convex shape. No shape will be displayed upon its surface.
No, I agree, but it's not a in a globe model.
You agree that then it's not a globe?
No. So in a globe model, even in a globe model, right? We're not saying that the property of water is to shape it itself like this. Rather, it's the property of things with mass, right?
What?
It's about gravity. Gravity attracts the body of water.
Gymnastics. You're playing word gymnastics. Do you accept the natural physics of water? Yes or no? If you're saying no, can you provide a practical example as to why you don't? Why you think it behaves against all natural observations? If you can provide a practical example, you have a case. If you don't, then you're just using mental and word gymnastics to try and actively deny the reality that you're living in.
Okay, so I don't see that I'm denying any natural.
Well, you're continually trying to come up with some sophist answer, against all observed natural observations of how liquid behave on Earth.
Yeah, on Earth, right? But we're saying that there's gravity on Earth.
That's where we live. We live on Earth.
Yeah,
where are you talking about? Where are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about a simplest chair, right? So,
right, so if we know how liquids behave here on Earth, why are you still saying you believe you live on a globe?
Because how liquids behave here on Earth doesn't contradict the Earth being a globe.
Of course it does. It contradicts it immensely. It is absolutely impossible for us to be living on the exterior of any shape.
Any shape? Even flat shape?
Well, what do you mean flat shape? What does flat mean to you? Flat to me is something totally different, obviously.
Flat is level, just a plane.
No, that's what I say. It's a level plane. Whatever it is must be contained in the water. We know that because the place is covered in water. We know how water behaves. We have tested it. We have applied it. We know it to be fact, everyday life that everybody can test and experience for themselves. So I don't know what the problem is.
Oh, the problem is that what we observe here on Earth with water doesn't contradict the globe model, right? We don't expect to see a curvature, major curvature in real experiences. Even if gravity is true, we don't expect it to curve water in a pool or in a river, right? In any significant way, you have to have specific instruments on a great distance to measure the very subtle curve of the Earth.
So where's your measurements?
Oh, I can shoot down. There's the Chicago skyline measurements. Just really general observations of boats over the horizon.
Mate, I don't want to be ignorant, but you're not offering anything, right? You're no jumping to images and fucking, I'm bringing real science to you. I'm bringing real science to you that you can go away and test yourself. You have stated over and over, you know how water behaves, but you have this confusion going on in your mind that you somehow still want to deny the reality and the possibilities of where you are to push a cartoon. I suggest that you look at the actual globe. Go and get the globe and look at it and turn it and look at the oceans on the globe. Right? And then go and look at reality and see if what you're seeing on that is anywhere observable in reality, and you'll find that it's not.
How could you say that? You would be just a small ant, right? It's like expecting an ant on a basketball to see the curvature.
I don't need to, go to mind experiments like that. The fact that the liquid is there for me to test, measure, and observe every single day tells me that it's impossible for it to be a globe.
Okay, well, tell me this, Beyond. What would you expect to see when you look at the ocean, right? What do you expect to see if the Earth is round?
No, because the water doesn't behave like that.
But no, okay. What would you expect to see though, if the Earth is round?
I don't know what you mean. Why would I need to expect to see anything?
Well, you say that when we go around us, when we look at the ocean at the horizon, we don't see it supporting the globe Earth. It looks flat somehow.
Right. So when does the curve start happening?
Well, that's the question. That's the question. What would you expect to see when you look at the ocean at the horizon and the boats? Right. If the Earth was round, what would you expect to see? Would you expect a bulge? Yes. Would you see a bulge of water rising up?
I'm not interested in any of these thought experiments. You know, I've said it to you clearly. You know, I only deal with natural science. I only deal with measurable, testable, observable, repeatable. I'm giving you that, and that is the first principles here. You have to accept the reality that you're in.
Okay, sure. Sure. Let's can I bring a different point if you want to?
No, I don't want to make any.
I have a repeatable experiment right here. I have a testable repeatable experiment.
This conversation is not going to go any further because I can't have a discussion with somebody who actively denies their common sense observations. You know, tested reality. I cannot deal with you, my man. You know, you need to let go of this religious cult that has you. You're not going to come here. You know, if you want to convince me of anything, you have to meet the criteria. It's not hard for me to answer. I'm sticking to natural science.
Del, the criteria is still a repeatable experiment. Is that a criteria?
Yes.
Can I show you something?
No, you're not showing me anything until you accept the reality that you're in first. And then
sure, I accept all you say. I accept that this is how water behaves. Yes.
Right.
Definitely. And I can show you, by the way, an experiment, a testable, repeatable experiment of gravity happening. You want to see it?
What we're talking about gravity for here? Is this going to give us measurable curvature of your globe?
It will show you that this is what's going to happen. If gravity is true, then water and utter.
No magical force is ever going to. You need to tell us at what scale the physical properties as we know it start to change. At what scale? What?
They don't start to change.
Well, they must. If you're telling us that we live in a globe, the ocean has to be curved like that. If you actually looked at a globe, I don't think you have actually looked at a globe. Right, we'll turn it up like that, and you will see this huge ocean that's covering the globe.
Yes,
which
and
means
it covers
which means the surface is like this.
Sure. Well, it sticks to it because of gravity, and I can prove you gravity with a testable repeatable experiment. Do you want to see it? You can do this experiment yourself if you want. Do you want to see it? I have a recording of a Cavendish-like experiment done by a professional.
Oh, no, mate, I'm not proving your hearsay. You're not here to waste anybody's time.
It's not hearsay.
People, if you want to listen, mate, I'm going to tell people, go, everybody, and research the Cavendish experiment. Then try and recreate it yourself. Have a look in every aspect that you can. Do not take this man's word on anything or anybody else's. Recreate it yourself. See what your findings are, and then report it as, you know, whatever you find it. So, is that you, man? Is that the information you wanted to share? Was the Cavendish experiment?
Not the original one. This is a different one. Right? This is the modern version of this.
We've enough time now, so I've told people to go and research the Cavendish experiment. Okay.
Okay, so you have seen replications of this. So, what is your answer?
No, I've not seen any replications in it. Have you replicated it?
No, not me. I've seen the video of it being replicated.
Just talking about hearsay and
it's
videos.
Not hearsay. It's a video footage.
Right, okay, that's fine. Well, I'll wait till other people have done it, and then we'll see what it proves. Right? But does a Cavendish experiment show liquid conforming to the exterior of the sphere?
No, that's not the purpose of it.
Right, so you're not accepting the first principles. You're denying reality. You're going on hearsay, something that you've not recreated yourself. So you've got nothing else to offer here, my man. That's enough, okay? Take care of yourself.
All right, we'll take care.
Take it easy, man.
That's a link out to Dennis.
Dennis. Dennis. Oh, right, I know what you're talking about. No, again, you know, this is the problem with these people. They're so delusional. They're so desperate to cling to this cartoon, you know. They try and claim that it's science. Cavendish experiments, 2 balls attracting another ball, and all this fucking nonsense. You know, they don't want to accept the reality that they're living in. You know, the testable, observable, measurable, repeatable reality. You can't be sitting there saying that you accept the properties of water and how it behaves and then still claim that you live on a globe. That is just a fucking total contradiction. Right? There's something seriously wrong with you if you're doing that. There's something not wired correctly. All these extravagant claims and experiments. And the liquid tells you everything you need to know. It's the most accurate measuring tool we have. So while I'm waiting on the next guest, tell him the Cavendish experiments cannot work. How? When everything's set up is already supposed to be under the gravity of the Earth. If we wanted to test magnets, we would eradicate any nearby magnetic force as much as possible. Same with gravity, right? Now, you know, they always say that. They say things like, oh, I can't show you water sticking to the Earth because I need another planet because Earth's fuel gets in the road of it. But then I want to pull these experiments when it suits me and it doesn't matter. It doesn't get in the way of it. It's all good. That's just sophism. We know that, you know. But we're going to continue to get these characters that will try, but they will never get past the first hurdle. And they can claim that they're scientific all they like. Science requires actual practical examples, you know. We've heard the stories. Yep, so if you want to message or call, it's 07393 654 544.
Elisa's confirmed she's got technical problems getting hooked up this week and hopes to get in next week. So,
who?
Elisa, who was waiting. So yeah, peeps, if you're all having trouble with Firefox and plugins and stuff, it might well be worth trying out Opera as a browser. It seems to be working okay for me.
Hey Dale. It's funny how you never see the beautiful sunset, sunrise colours on the ball Earth from space. What a joke. Yeah, of course it is. And this is the point that I keep trying to say to people. It does not matter what images anybody produces. If the images don't match tested, observed reality, their images are false. So, I don't need to go any further with these clowns claiming they're going to this fucking vacuum of space and that the Earth's a globe. I know they're fucking lying. Right? And that's the point. Don't keep looking at these people as if they're going to convince you of something. You need to get it into your mind. Right? That they'll pull anything. They'll probably, you know, if they wanted to, they'd be gathering information to try and convince you. You need to understand science and what the claims actually are and how it works. Right? You know, if the images are no matching when we apply that method, then they're lying. Their images are false. Or, you know, we start producing whatever image we like, and it should be accepted as scientific fact because we have images there. Well, we don't need to, you know, observe it and recreate it in reality. No. If the images are good enough and it comes from browbeating intellectuals, then we must accept it. Fucking get the fuck. Shift in attitude, people, It's this victim mind. Like, oh, NASA, and images and videos, and just get it into your mind, stick to the science. That's your power, that's your tool. Play them at their own game, throw science at them, and don't let them away with it. Does not matter what images they're going to produce or videos, whatever. You don't accept it. So, chat box. Lisa Hawkdale, we all want to rent you for family barbecues. Just keep me fed and watered then. That'll be fine. As long as there's sun, wherever you are. Nothing can move in a vacuum, the beer guy. And I keep hearing people talking about vacuums, and look how a feather on a bowling ball behaves in a vacuum as if this somehow proves something. And I keep saying to people, why are we even discussing vacuums? Where's the vacuum? Why is a vacuum even relevant to us? Have we proven there's a vacuum somewhere? And what's the significance of it? It's like they get you tied up and talking about these things that they haven't even proven. We just take, for granted still that vacuums and their relevance. No, you don't experience a vacuum. Why is it even in your conversation? There's no vacuum here. We don't live there. Rick Vat's Bull Earthers are slowly losing a sphere of influence. Yep, that's because people are not accepting the nonsense anymore. The way a force hard enough to hold water to a spinning ball would hold us flattened to the earth. Yep. And even then, the water would fucking constantly push against any force to find it flat and level. Pete Shee, who the fuck are you? Uppercut, if you said nothing, you wouldn't have started anything. Bitching going on here in the comments. YouTube, why does Gravity get a free pass? Because it's shoehorned into society against their better judgment by secret societies. Yeah, it's just part of the manipulation, They give these things relevance and importance and have everybody focusing on it. Just what I'm saying about the vacuum and all that stuff, James Doherty, vacuum sucks, yep. Don't go sticking anything in there. No doobies in a vacuum. Crystal Shift, Happy Mushroom, off topic, plants grow toward the light. Yep. Magumba, Lisa, I'm sure he'd be good with that, but he eats like a horse. Oh, it's just jumped. Just jumped. Shirtless Flat Earther, this guy's brilliant. This is Dale, right? Yep, this is me. Thank you very much. YouTube, I know they use vacuums to hoax it if they drop two objects and can't discern the difference in the fall time. Oh well, it must be a constant when dropping stuff in water proves it's a variable. Feel no inertia. It keeps jumping. Right. What time are we on? We have a no show for any guests, so I'm just going to wrap it up there tonight, I think, people. Marshall, you can say something there?
Yeah, I was just going to apologise to Derek. Derek started a petition on change.org about full exploration.
Yeah.
But the character count on the link is too long for me to drop it in the chat box. So sorry, Derek. We have to sort out shorter links. So Derek started a petition on change.org about full exploration. Yeah. But the character count on the link is too long for me to drop it in the chat box.
Delta Halfman, I've had to mute you there because your YouTube watch page is The sound is on, you need to turn it down. And then you need to hit the unmute button once you're ready.
Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
How you doing?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm alright. I'm still getting up.
Just about to wrap up then. Suddenly got on.
Have you still got the YouTube page on? I saw all the
Yeah.
No, it's still is it just me?
No, we're getting feedback. I'm getting an internet link your mouse clicks even. So I think you need to sort your tech out a little bit, dude.
Yeah, I've just had to mute it there because it was really, really bad. So about that, man, I'll wait a couple of minutes just to see if it works again for you. So, back to the chat for a wee moment. Scotland's Flat, take care, folks. Get in touch for a meet-up. Good night, all. Thanks again, Dale Marshall, and all your good selves. Peace. Yeah, just as well you reminded me about that, about a destination. Is it anybody said they would like to attend any kind of meeting and a destination? I'm trying to think. I don't think we're in any rush, so I'll leave it with me, see if I get any mails from MD and any suggestions, and then I'll announce it in the next live what we're going to get up to. So, are you still there, Marshall? Right?
Oh, I'm still here, mate.
Yeah. So it doesn't look as if we're getting them back in.
No, I think he might have had quite an elaborate text set up at his end, though, and yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you to everybody. I was going to attempt to go out with the posh voice, just to round up where we started off, you know. I hope that you appreciate the efforts I have made to please you all. It's been a real pleasure. Every guest who came on, I don't have everybody's name to list right now, but I appreciate every one of you. Keep at them, people. Marshall, thank you very much. Magumba, Jonah Worms, thank you very much. Thank you everybody in chat, everybody who came on, everybody who watched. Keep at them, people. Keep active. Don't fall for any of the bullshit from any of these characters, you know. Peace. Cheers, everybody.